goes without them. Service doesn't stop when we're done serving. It's what makes us the VFW. Learn more at vfw.org.
Parents, we know we can't protect our kids from everything. Eventually, they're going to bump their heads or scrape their knees. But we can protect them from 6 types of cancer. HPV, or human papillomavirus, is a common preventable virus that can cause cancer later in life. The HPV vaccine prevents human papillomavirus and all the cancers it can cause. The American Cancer Society recommends getting your sons and daughters the HPV vaccine starting at age 9 to protect them later in life.
Let's talk about America. Not taxes or tweets or the issues that divide us, but how incredible our country is. Whether you come home to a crowded city street or sleepy small town, everyone deserves to live in a clean, green, and thriving community. We are Keep America Beautiful, the nonprofit working with millions of people like you to end littering, improve recycling, and beautify communities. Learn more at KAB.org. Together, we can do beautiful things.
Kansas City's hometown sports station, Sports Radio 810 WHB Kansas City. You're listening to the most powerful sports station in the country. Sports Radio 810, WHB Kansas City, the power of sports.
America's largest all-sports radio station presents the #1 motorsports show for 2 decades, Track Talk, brought to you by Lucas Oil Products. Here are the Racing Boys, Scott Traylor and Kirk Elliott.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Track Talk here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. I'm Scott Traylor. The guy next to me here is Kirk Elliott. We're the Racing Boys. Welcome to the show. We are live from the Racing Boys studio here in Racing Boys HQ. Todd Surprise, Austin O'Neill helping us here in the studio. Blake back at Sports Radio 810 doing a great job back there as well. Want to welcome everybody to the show. Got a pretty good show lined up for you today. Lee Spencer's going to join us here in a little bit. She's going to be live. We got a couple recorded interviews. We're going to play the Wade Johnson in hour number 1. And in hour number 2, Derek Kissinger is one of the key players over at Flow Racing, and he is a late model expert. And in hour number 2, we're going to play a 21-minute interview that we did with him earlier this week on Mostly Motorsports. It's a pretty intriguing interview. We hope that you'll take a listen and follow us over there in hour number 2. Again, hour number 2 exclusively on our Facebook page, Twitter, YouTube, and RacingBoys.com. It's the only place you can watch it. You can listen to everything else here in hour number 1 on Sports Radio 810 WHB. It's all brought to you by Lucas Oil Products. It works. Kirk, how you doing, my friend? You doing all right?
I'm doing good. Watched the races at Knoxville last night. We weren't there, but we followed everything that went on last night. Pretty good show.
Well, you know, our boy, Austin O'Neill, has a tough decision to make tonight. Austin?
Oh,
that is a very tough decision. You're planning
it's already been made.
You've already made the decision? You're not going to go?
No.
You're not going to go. Austin was planning on running at Knoxville tonight with the 360s, but we've looked at the forecast. Austin come in this morning. He kind of dragged his lip in here. A little sad about what was – not really.
No.
That was just a figure of speech, Austin. Don't take that personal when I say something like that.
Oh, I will.
But yeah, I know you will. But he was a little sad when he walked in. He looked at me and he goes, you know what? I don't think we're going to race tonight at Knoxville. And I said, why? He said, look at the weather forecast. 70% chance of rain tonight starting at 6 o'clock. Right, Austin?
Well, it's 70% chance of rain during the day, 70 at night. And I pulled up I saw the Weather Channel here in Kansas City, and we're supposed to have severe weather here. And I pulled up the Weather Channel, not the Weather Channel, the
weather app.
Yeah, what's the national service? The National Weather Service.
Yep.
That's what it is.
Yep.
So they said that for Kansas City was severe weather. So I pulled up Knoxville, and it's about the same up there. So I'm like, well, I'll just.
Why burn the fuel and go up there, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be, $200, $225 in fuel for me, $300 to start. Then you add in pit passes, race fuel, motor rebuild. If I start the car, I mean,
it adds up.
It's looking to be over $700, and I got to run pretty decent for that. I'm saying we can't, not saying that, but it's it's just a lot of money.
30% chance they could be wrong, though.
Yeah.
Yeah. Kirk, you're such a. Of all people, Kirk is the most pessimistic person I've ever met in my life, right? Because he always looks at things a little bit towards the negative side. That was maybe one of the most positive things I've ever heard him say in 22 years just now.
Well,
got a 30% chance that they'll get it in tonight, Austin. Just go ahead and burn the fuel and go on up there, bud.
Well,
Hey,
I'm not
the
burning diesel fuel to get there either.
If the credit card reads Kirk Elliott on it,
Right,
I'll burn it.
you're going, right? Yeah, yeah.
I'm not burning the diesel fuel. I'm just a race fan, so I might take more of a chance of going there myself than in the position that you're in right now. So I will admit that. Well, hopefully they get it in tonight. But
Yeah,
no, I
it
understand
doesn't
where
look
you're
good.
coming from. You got to look at the dollars and cents of this whole deal.
Well, let's start off talking about last night at Knoxville. Brent Marks picks up the win. What'd you guys think about that win last night? Yeah, it was, Anthony Macri and Brent Marks come to Knoxville to race. They're the PA guys, right? It wasn't it kind of a PA night last night, Austin? Did you feel like it was a little bit of a PA night last night? Those guys were doing pretty good there at Knoxville, and I know Kirk would agree with that. Well, how about you, Austin? What do you think?
I think it was a PA night across the country because Danny Dietrich won the All-Star race at Attica.
That's true.
I think it just was one of the nights that the PA guys were fast, and Anthony wasn't as good as Brent, in the feature, but
Right.
He's only been there a handful of times. Brent Marks has been there, I think they said 30 or so times. So,
Right. He was due.
Yeah, he was well due for it. And he had to fight off probably two of the best at Knoxville. I mean, at least one of the best, and Brian Brown. But no, I mean that was actually a really good race for what they had dealt to. I mean, it rained early in the morning. And qualifying, it got pretty slick and wide in it for it to really narrow up and get fast. And the feature was actually a pretty good race.
Yeah. I thought Brown was going to have a chance to win that race there last night.
Sure.
He looked like he had the speed, but he kind of messed up early in the race down in 1 and 2 a little bit. He kind of missed the corner down there, and he got gapped a little bit. But then he ran down Marks again. But there on that final restart, and did you guys see? Did you see the Hickel Austin McCarl deal? Austin was not too happy with J.J. Hickel.
Did they show a replay on that? If they did, I missed
They
it.
never showed the replay.
No, they missed it. But from what Johnny said, or might have been Chase Rodman, one of the two, they said they heard him call yellow, and then it went to red. So you guess maybe J.J. spun on the cushion or
slowed down.
checked up, and then
Yeah.
McCarl had nowhere to go. But
It jumped his stuff out pretty good too.
it looked bad, but it wasn't that bad when they took the car into the pits and it was on the tow truck. I mean, the frame looked all right.
You think it just got the wings?
The bumper was kind of bent, but if he was checking up for a spun car or whatever, I mean, it wasn't going to be that hard of a hit. So I mean, I bet you'll see him in that maybe the same car, if not a backup car tonight at the farthest.
Did you notice how quick the sheriffs jumped in between him and Hickel? Did you see that part when the sheriffs come running up the racetrack? Austin was walking towards Hickel. The cops jumped up in front of the Austin. The McCarl's got a little bit of a name up there. They're a little tough, and I'm not sure J.J. Hickel would want any of Austin McCarl.
Yeah. Well, J.J. Hickel's not the type of guy that gets into
He's a nice
scrapes
guy.
with people.
Yeah.
I'm sure he didn't
He's a
mean
good
to
guy.
cause harm. I don't know what happened. I didn't see it, but Austin McCarl certainly not happy with J.J. Hickel.
How about that? How about on that final restart? And they come down, they take the white. It looks like Brown's got the run to get around him on the outside, right? But Brown said it in his post-race interview that Marks just kept coming up, and finally he had to get out of the gas, and when he got out of the gas, he jumped the cushion, and that was the end of it for him. And then Logan got around him then, right?
Yes.
Right.
Yes, Logan got by him for a second.
Yeah.
I thought maybe Logan Schuchart had the faster car of all three of them. At one time, he did get past Brian Brown for second place, and
Right.
then Brownie got him back.
He got him back, yeah. Who do you think was the fastest car, Austin? Do you think Schuchart was the fastest of the three?
That's kind of tough. I think all three of them were fast.
About equal, you think, maybe?
They were all pretty equal when they hit it right.
Yeah.
I didn't really expect 3 and 4 to go, that one lane around the bottom. But when it got that dirty, 5-10 laps into the race, you knew you had to hit it, and when each car would hit it, they would show plenty of speed, and I don't know. I mean, I think they all were pretty good. It's just who could hit the line the best. I mean, you saw times where Brown or Schuchart pulled off the top into one and tried to hit the bottom or try to run through the middle, and it never works. I mean, and then the laps they come back and do something different, they were fast to run down Brennan again. I mean, I don't know. It's just I think they all were pretty close. It was just who would hit the line the right and not make any mistakes.
Right. Did you watch the B main?
Yes.
Huh?
Yeah, I saw it.
Yeah.
Tasker Phillips just about killed Ayrton Jennison.
He did, man. I mean, when he was coming down to the checkered flag, he hits the berm down in the front, pulls a big giant wheelie, and Ayrton is right on top of him and nearly runs into him. He did a great job of getting around him down there.
That was close.
That was very close. Yeah, I thought for sure he was going to crash him right there.
Pretty exciting, right on the front straightaway like that.
But I thought it was a pretty good race overall. What'd you guys think last night?
Yeah, it was a good show.
Yeah.
Enjoyed.
It'd be
watching.
better if we were watching Austin race up there tonight, but unfortunately,
I don't think you're going to see anybody race tonight.
I don't think we're going to see anybody.
Great
up there
car
as
count
well.
last night. 52 410 sprint cars at Knoxville last night. So.
Yeah.
I wonder what the issue was. I think I might know, but with Logan Schuchart after that red, he dumped a lot of water on the front stretch.
Yeah, and they put that oil dried out there.
Yeah, I wonder. I don't know if
he never said what was going on there. If he was overheating, though, when they did the post-race interview with him, he never said a word about it.
I don't know.
What do you think?
I
was?
wouldn't say anything if it was overheating.
Yeah, I know,
but I don't know. I bet you it was. I mean, look how heavy and fast it was. I don't know what the air was like up there last night, but I mean, you pack the radiator full of mud and it's going to get warm, and you're running wide open. So, and your fuel might have been a little bit off. So, I mean,
there's several things that could happen right there.
I mean, I think he might have been a little warm, and it just pushed some water out on it.
They thought maybe it was water coming out.
Well,
I think.
Chase, he went down there and checked it, and he said as much, that it was water coming out of the radiator.
Yeah.
So
unless he had a hole in the line from something, but I bet you just
he didn't
pushed some
seem to be
water out of
affected.
it.
that could be right.
Yeah.
That could have been.
He didn't seem to be affected by it after that.
No.
So I think it was water.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I think the same thing. Hey, now, just a little bit on the local level here last night. Lakeside Speedway was planning on racing last night, right? And they got rained out after their heat races. Is that correct?
Well, they got through the heat races of 3 of the support classes. The big show last night were the B-Mods, the Joe Barry Classic. They didn't get any of the heat races run for that class because we paid $1,200 to win last night, so they never even got the heat races out on the track in that class before the rains came and shut them down for the night.
Todd lives 5 minutes from Lakeside Speedway, and you didn't get a drop of rain, did you?
Not a drop of rain. It was the strangest thing. You could see the clouds moving in different directions and all around us.
Right.
But Piper got nothing, and I was amazed when I saw
it was ankle deep at
It
Lakeside.
was. We're looking at a photo of Andy Bryant racing that was from
Look
his
at
pits.
that.
I mean, he's up to his ankles in
And
this
you're
stuff.
5 minutes from there.
5 minutes and not a drop of water.
That's crazy.
I couldn't imagine when she posted that video. I was like, "There's no way this is from tonight."
That is unbelievable.
Yeah, it was crazy night.
Yeah.
Rain also shut down Eldora Speedway last night before they could get the second B main in, and the 2 features yet to be run. They'll run those this afternoon at 2 o'clock Central Time, 3 o'clock Eastern, as part of the one Saturday show. 1 ticket. They're not going to clear the stands after they get done with Friday's portion of the program.
You derailed me there a little bit, Kirk. We were talking about Lakeside, and then you jumped into what is it? You're talking about Eldora?
Yeah, well, the other rainouts that we had last night.
Mm-hmm.
So, and the midgets got rained out at Gas City last night. That's called off. They'll go to Kokomo tonight.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. That'll be a good show tonight at Kokomo. I'm looking really forward to that. They always put a good show on there. Danny Dietrich picked up the win last night. at Attica. Did you guys see that? Any of that?
That was not easy for
That was
Danny.
not an easy
Even though he
race.
started on the front row, that was not an easy run for Dietrich to
No,
pull
it
that
wasn't.
off. That was a pretty good race.
Bill Baylog and Justin Peck kept him honest on that
Yeah.
in that race.
What happened in that wreck with Tyler Courtney? They replaced the whole front end on that car. He was able to get back out on the racetrack. Did you see a replay on that incident
didn't.
that happened right at the start of the race?
I didn't see it, Kurt.
What about, of course, Austin? He didn't see it. He was watching Knoxville.
He
but
was watching Knoxville last night.
heavy front end damage on the Tyler Courtney car, but they did get a new axle front end assembly on that car.
He
got
came
him back
back
out
and
on the
ended up
racetrack.
running 15th last night.
Ended up running 15th, but I
Yeah.
couldn't see what happened there.
No, but that was pretty good. Who did? I think it was Eliason and Peck got together, didn't they? At one time
Yeah.
during that race,
Eliason spun out.
right? No, they banged wheels. They got together, didn't they, last night? Austin, did you watch any of that race? You didn't watch any of it, did you?
I'm getting ready to watch the highlights of it.
Yeah,
But Eliason went around,
right. Yeah,
so ruined his night.
run his night.
would
Peck
had a-
went on and didn't get any damage. And then on the restart, Eliason spun out again. He
Yeah.
spun out when him and Peck made contact, and then he spun out again after they restarted the race. So I don't know what kind of damage was done to his car, but it's pretty good action. Attica always puts on some pretty good racing, doesn't it?
Yeah, good show out
Good
there.
racetrack.
They
yeah.
run 410s every Friday night there at Attica.
Yeah. It's 410 country, Kurt.
Yep.
Yeah, for sure.
So, yeah, it was a good show last night. It was the beginning of Ohio Sprint Speed Week at Attica Raceway tonight. They'll be racing every night here for the next 6-7 days.
All-Stars are going to be at Fremont tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah. That'll be a pretty good race.
Next 2 nights.
Is it 2 nights they're running at
think so.
Fremont?
Yep.
It is. Well, a lot going on tonight. I can tell you this. It's going to be a busy night down here in the studio because I'm going to sit down here and watch a lot of racing tonight.
Yeah, we got the late model dream going on tonight, $150,000
Right.
to win. We've got the midgets at Kokomo. We've got
All-Stars at Fremont.
World Outlaws, keep our fingers crossed at Knoxville. We've got, we got a lot of great racing going on tonight. And they're running the USMTS mods on the quarter-mile track.
All right.
I didn't realize that.
Hold on a second. I got
Belleville.
I got to say this. If you're going to go to Belleville and you're going to run USMTS modifieds, why in the world would you run them on the quarter mile?
And have stock cars on the half mile.
I did not know this, Austin, until you told me this. They ran the stock cars on the big track, and they ran the modifieds on the little track.
And they only had 10 stock cars.
10 stock cars, and they only had 30 modifieds.
33 modifieds.
33. Come on, anybody? Can anybody explain that to me? What the heck is going on there? Why would they do that?
Did Todd Staley get some feedback on that from his racers? Hey, we don't want to run the half mile? What was that? I don't understand the decisioning behind that.
Why would you prep 2 racetracks?
Well,
Can anybody explain that to me?
there's obviously a logical reason for that. We don't know what that is. So
Makes
I
no
don't know.
sense at all. That's what Chris Yance, he just chimed in. He
I'd
said
rather
that.
seen them on. I assumed that they were going to be raced on the half mile, just like the XR super late models are on Monday and Tuesday night. I thought it was going to be the big half mile at Belleville.
The XR Super Late Model Series is going to go in there and run next week.
Monday and Tuesday.
Now, Austin, I'm correct when I say what you told me earlier, right? They're going to run the XR Super Late Model Series on the big track at Belleville next week, and then they're going to run Joe Kosiski's class.
The Malvern Bank late models are going to be there?
They're going to be there, and they're going to run on the quarter mile. What's going on?
Maybe
I don't understand any of this.
Maybe give it a little variety
It
for the
doesn't
fans.
make any sense at all to me at all. It
Maybe-
doesn't make a bit of sense to me.
Maybe just,
Why prep 2 racetracks? Why not just prep 1? Austin, can you help me with any of
Well,
this?
a lot of times they prep both racetracks in Belleville, like the 305 Nationals, for instance, that they have late July every
They
year.
run them on the big track.
They prep both those racetracks because they run some micro races on that smaller track
That's
at the same
micros.
time they're running the.
I get that, Kirk, but if you're going to run...
But if you have two classes that are capable of running on the half mile,
why wouldn't you?
Well, I'm with you on that, but there's got to be a reason that we don't know what it is.
Austin, can you get your head around that one at all?
No, I normally can, but
That's...
I mean, it doesn't make sense. I don't
It's
know
silly.
why. I mean, Belleville's historic. I mean, it is a prestigious place to go race, and you want to,
You want to say you ran on the big track.
yeah, and that's what it's known for. I mean,
Yeah.
it's known for the Belleville Midget Nationals. It's known, for just being big and fast, and why would you not take the most prestigious modified touring series and make them run on
The big track.
the big track?
Here's the thing about it. The problem is they're running the stock cars on the big track, and then they got 33 A-mods, USMTS cars, and they're running them on the small track. Do you feel that this was a Todd Staley suggestion that they wanted to run on the little track?
I have no idea. I don't know. I didn't realize that when I went over there to watch the USMTS Modifieds of Belleville last night over on RacingDirt.com,
Yeah.
it was already over, so I missed it. And I didn't realize till I came in here this morning
What time
that
was
they
that,
raced
Kurt?
on the quarter mile.
What time was that?
I don't know. It was
Early?
after 9, 10 o'clock last night.
It got over that early.
When I flipped over there, it was
When you only
already
have
over.
10 stock cars and 33 A's, maybe that's part of it. They just ran through the show pretty quick.
So I come in
maybe
here.
they were worried
Right.
about rain too, and they pushed the show through pretty
I
quick.
just assumed that they were on the big track like all the other classes.
Yeah.
And I come in here this morning and you said they were running the quarter mile. Why? I don't know. We'll try to find out.
Yeah. Well, we'll try to get Trenton Berry on next week on Mostly Motorsports. We'll figure it out.
Derek Ramirez had it figured out, though, last night.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, for sure. All right. Well, listen, we're going to take a break. Are we going to do Lee next?
No, we've got her in the third segment.
Third
coming
segment.
up.
Okay.
So,
All right. So Lee Spencer is going to join us here in a little bit in segment number 3. But until then, we're going to come back and we're going to talk a little bit more about what's going on around the country in racing, not only around the country, but a little bit of what's going on around here. We'll talk about what happened down at Lake Ozark Speedway last night as well. More of Track Talk when we continue. It's all brought to you by Lucas Oil Products. It works. We'll be right back.
Track Talk.
As your power steering pump ages, seal leaks may occur, causing the power steering system to lose fluid. Your power steering system may also develop an annoying squeal, and the steering may become more difficult to handle. By using Lucas Power Steering Stop Leak, you will stop the seal leaks, reduce slack in rack and pinion, eliminate the squeals and hard spots in your power steering system. It is guaranteed to stop seal leaks or your money back. Lucas Power Steering Stop Leak. It works.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
I'm attorney Mike DePasquale. I played linebacker. I won a state championship. I played Division I ball. I know a thing or two about winning. The winning attitude starts with confidence. My law firm is so confident in what we do that if we take your injury case and we don't win, you don't pay us a dime. So if you've been hurt, call me. My team wants to win for you. I've got this.
Mike's got this. All you need to know. 816-888-7500. Mike's got this.
Hey guys, it's Lebo here for CertaPro Painters. When it comes to painting, don't do it yourself. Use the power of pro with CertaPro Painters. They've worked inside and outside of my home for years, and they always do a great job. Top notch from start to finish. You can get a free estimate online right now at CertaPro.com. That's Certa with a C. Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated, so they really are your local neighborhood painters. It's the best of both worlds. Get that free estimate online at CertaPro.com. That's Certa with a C for CertaPro Painters. The power of pro.
They say consistency is the key to success. They weren't wrong. So how about grabbing a beer that's consistently smooth, consistently refreshing, and consistently light? You might just find that the road to success can be pretty enjoyable. Michelob Ultra, the perfect balance of taste and refreshment, and only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Of course, there are great specials this weekend at the Butcher Block inside your neighborhood hen house. Start with USDA Choice Certified Hereford Beef Kansas City strips, boneless, 10 ounces, just $9 each or $13.99 a pound. Fresh 93% lean ground beef, ground fresh several times each day, only $4.99 a pound. All natural pork loin baby back ribs, sold in cryovac, also just $4.99 a pound. And don't forget the incredible selection of seafood. Fresh whole Atlantic salmon fillets are only $9.99 a pound. It's all at Hen House, serving your family and mine since 1923.
Are you looking for a career change? Let Sports Radio 810 help you with your search. Many local companies are hiring right now, and there's never been a better time to check those opportunities out. Go to 810WHB.com and click on the Community tab and search Job Connections. Great companies in our community need you right now. Companies like MJ Transportation, Amini's, Twin Peaks, and Easton Roofing. So check it out at 810WHB.com. 810 Job Connections, connecting you with your next career.
Hey, Kansas City, Stephen St. John here. If you're looking for a place to stay on your staycation getaway, there is space to play at the Inn at Meadowbrook. Enjoy the outdoor pool and hot tub overlooking Meadowbrook Lake and Park. Go ride on the complimentary cruiser bikes and end the day by the fire pit after a full day of exploring Kansas City. We had a great time at the Inn at Meadowbrook celebrating my wife's 50th birthday. So if you're looking for a place for a great staycation, check out the Inn at Meadowbrook.
Welcome back. It's Track Talk here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. And we want to thank everybody that tunes in each and every week here on WHB. We've got a lot of people listening around in a lot of rural areas, a lot of race fans around the Midwest. And, Kirk, I got to I hope I don't get myself in a little bit of trouble here, but last night, Lake Ozark Speedway canceled their races.
They did that a couple of days ago.
Has anybody figured out why they canceled Friday night yet?
Threat of rain and potential thunderstorms that
it did
never
rain. It never happened. Let me just ask you this. When a promoter does that and they cancel, we've done this before. Kirk and I have done this. We canceled our first race at Lakeside Speedway because the weather forecast talked about severe weather, threatening weather all week long, and even up till the day before our race. And we pulled the plug on that race, and we were standing out in front of Lakeside, and the sun was out the next day.
Well, it could be they're armed with more information than you and I have sitting here. Could be they figured out, a 2-day show. And I'm really not a big fan of 2-day shows unless you got more cars that you can handle for a 1-day show. Then I'm okay with it. Could it be, and I don't know that they looked at the car counts coming in for this thing. They thought, maybe it's better we just run it in 1 day. I don't know.
You got any thoughts on this one, Austin? You got any opinions? Don't be scared. I always say that because Austin rubs his face when he gets like, I don't know what to say here.
I don't. I mean, that's not the first time the lake has canceled. A
2-day show or one of the 2 days.
Nah, I mean, yeah. I mean, they've dropped the ball on every 2-day show they've had this year. And this is not the first time they canceled the premiere of the POWRi 410 Wing Sprint Car Series too. So I don't know. I mean.
So Nina Jennington just said in Gravois we had heavy rain at 8 p.m. Not sure Eldon got the rain.
They could got a rain last night. Are you sure they didn't get rain at Lake Ozark?
I'm not positive about that. I don't know. But that could have happened, though. Yeah.
I think it's probably a legitimate decision that was made. And again, we're not here. We don't have all the information that they have when they go to make decisions like that. So I'm kind of more in line of cutting them a little slack on these kinds of decisions. A lot of times it's a business decision, and that's okay with me.
So Dave Tyson here on Facebook is saying that Robert Blue wasn't happy yesterday. He went to Facebook asking questions and couldn't get Lake Ozark Speedway to return his calls.
Well, that's not
and
good.
Twitter.
Oh, he posted something up on Twitter too. What was he saying, Austin? Do you know?
He was just asking why they canceled it. What's the reasoning, and if it's going to rain, then how much is it going to rain, or what's going on? I mean, he wasn't even mad. He was just trying to figure out what was going on.
It brings it back to that question again, right? Do you make the guys tow all the way there just to sit around while it's raining? If it's a 2-day show, you're probably going to be there already anyway, right? Why not just run the show until it rains and then get them out of there? If you see it's getting ready to rain, load them up, get them out of the pits. It's kind of hard. It is a little bit difficult to do that at Lake Ozark Speedway, though, isn't it, Austin? I mean, that's a racetrack that if it starts raining, you're liable to get stuck down in those pits, right?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's
because you kind of got to go uphill to get out of there, right?
Yeah, if you're parked on the backstretch, you're done. And then it's like a sandy dirt and some rocks, so the pits aren't really ever, well packed, and you'll a little moisture to it, you're gonna sink right through it.
Yeah. That's a facility you don't want to get caught in a bad storm.
Lloyd, he chimed in. He said, "I'm 30 minutes from the lake, and we got less than a quarter inch. Rain was real spotty in this area last night."
I mean, we don't know for a fact that they didn't get it, so I don't know. Either way, I think it makes for a big show tonight. Hopefully the weather is good for tonight. By having a one-day show, I think you'll probably get more fans, and you'll have a bigger show.
What are they running there tonight? They're running the Extreme Non-Wing and the war cars, right?
POWRi 410 series
and the 410s.
They haven't even got one of those shows in yet.
I don't believe they've got one.
They've canceled every single one of them.
Yeah. Hopefully they won't cancel tonight.
Yeah,
because if they do that, Robert Ballou might implode.
Well, if weather causes it to be canceled, whose fault? It's nobody's fault. So.
Right.
It's wing 410s, 305s, and non-wing sprint cars tonight.
Well, I'd go down and watch the 410s and the non-wings. That'd be good.
With Knoxville running, how many 410 cars are they going to get? 410 wing sprint cars are they going to have down there? I don't know.
We talked a little bit about this on Mostly Motorsports. This isn't 410 country. This is 360 country, right? I mean, ASCS has got a pretty good grip on racing in this area.
And Kansas City?
Well, no, I'm just saying kind of in the Show Me State area, in the Oklahoma area, there's more 360s than there is 410s.
Right.
That's all I'm saying.
I wouldn't say they're all committed to ASCS. I'm just going to say 360s. I mean, you got three that follow the Warrior region, and they get 15, 20 cars, if that, on a weekly basis, if not less.
Yeah.
And they had 12 at West Plains, so.
Yeah.
But generally speaking.
But just on a fair note, though, just to say that I do believe 410 racing is making a comeback. Would you agree with me on that one, Austin? That 410 is starting to make a little bit of a resurgence.
Yeah, I mean, if POWRi is wanting to pay $5,000 to win, and if they can get some races, then yeah, I mean, it just incentivizes the 360 guys to sell their 360s and go 410 racing. It's just, it pays better. I mean, just ask Ayrton Jennett and he'll tell you.
Right, that's why he's doing it.
And evidence of that was 52 cars last night at Knoxville.
Right.
That's a good number for, the World of Outlaws event in June.
Well, but you've got a built-in amount of guys up there already. Right.
But I think in past years we were getting like 30, maybe 40 cars, but, over 50
What has been the average car count for the 410s up at Knoxville this year? Has anybody got any idea?
About 24 or so.
24 or so? So that's about half the field. That's already built.
They've had a couple of weeks where they've had over 30 cars. I know a couple of nights this year they've had bigger numbers than the average.
Right.
So I would agree with you that the trend for the 410 sprint car racing is up.
Yeah.
And,
35.
And we'll see more of that. We'll see how things go at Skagit Speedway later in the year, where things kind of revert back to 410 racing up in the Pacific Northwest. We'll see how that goes.
That's a tricky, slippery slope right there, because they're going to be racing at Huset's for a lot of money the same weekend as they're going to be racing up at Skagit.
Yeah. I'm anxious to see what the breakdown will be on that.
The past 3 weeks at Knoxville in the 410 class,
Yep.
37, 31, 27.
That's
pretty
better.
damn good car count
That's
right
up.
there. Yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
So does that give us a signal that 410 is making a comeback? Because is it fair to say that 360 racing was pretty dominant around here for a while? But I think, dare I say this, Austin, because you're a 360 racer, but the money's in the 410s.
There's
right?
no money in 360 racing.
Right.
I hate
And
to
the
say
cost,
it,
you have to
but
bring
you
a
can't-
sponsor with you
You
to
have
make
to bring a lot of money. I mean,
Right.
you can't. It's hard to make it up and down the road. You know, if you have a bad night for $400 to start. I mean, you just and only to $1,500 to win at local shows, $3,000, $4,000 to win at national touring shows. I mean, it's not enough to make it.
Right. Kelly, she chimed in. She said Corey Day won the NARC race at Ocean City last night, 30 laps, green all the way. You know, that Corey Day, and she says that this kid is something to watch.
Yeah, boy, he was.
He is a gasser, isn't he?
When the Outlaws were out there, he really showed how
man.
good he was.
Yeah.
So
what do you think
yeah.
about Corey Day? Austin doesn't want to say nothing.
Is he 14 or how old is he? 15 now?
Well, hold on. This is my issue with the young drivers. Not my issue with them, but
just voice your opinion, buddy. That's what this show's all about.
Nobody knows how old they are. Nobody knows how old Ryan Timms is, Corey Day, or Brent Cruz, or I'm trying to think who else is young that
the
age.
young guys, yeah.
They always lie about their age.
Yeah,
Just
that's true.
if you're 15, you're 15. If you're 16, you're 16. If you're me,
Just say the
18, you're
truth.
18. I don't care. You
just
don't need
tell
to
the truth.
Just come on. I mean,
But they listed Ryan Timms' birthday as like late August. I saw
yeah,
the date.
he'll
They've
turn
been
6.
lying about his birthday for years.
Oh, I know. He'll turn 16 after the Nationals. But, like, I mean, Ryan, come on. Just tell him how old you are. We don't need to be,
Don't need to play all those games, right?
Well, he's afraid he wouldn't be allowed to run if he was being truthful about his age.
Dave Tyson, he said here that Knoxville Raceway has increased the purse this season. In turn, 360 and 410 car counts have been up healthy over the past few years. I know that there's a group of guys that throw some money together. They wanted us to get involved in it. You remember that a couple of years ago, Kirk, when they
Yeah.
wanted us to get involved in putting some extra money up for the 360 guys?
Right. Because they didn't feel the 360s were getting as much as they needed to pull in a decent car count. So they were kind of gathering some donations to help contribute to the cause.
Kelly, I don't think what Austin was saying, I don't think that he was messing with his talent or talking down on his talent. We all know Corey Day is an exceptional driver, right? We know that. But she said he's old enough to win 410 shows on a regular basis. I'm with you.
Scott.
Yeah?
Kelly's a guy. I'm sorry.
Oh, it is a guy? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I said a girl, didn't I?
Yeah.
I don't know why I said
Sorry,
that.
Kelly.
Sorry about that, Kelly.
You didn't mean it.
I didn't mean that.
We stand
Yeah.
corrected.
See, I put my pointer on his name, and there's old Kelly's face. Got a mustache. Sorry about that, Kelly. Well, that's my bad. Anyway, long story short is I don't think Corey is lacking any talent.
No, the guys that I've read off, they're not. I mean, it's just my issue. It's just, I mean,
Just say
you
your
don't need to
age.
lie about it. I mean,
Why-
we know you're young.
Yeah.
I mean, you
what
don't
difference
need,
does it make?
Yeah.
Yeah. Me personally, I think that I've said it many times on this show. When I was a kid, you had to be 16 years old to race. I still think. I hate to say this, but I think that a young person's body is not matured until they get 16, 18 years old. I worry about flipping and hurting themselves at a young age. You're not fully developed at 14 years old, I don't think.
Yeah, and then at that level, I think just not only the physical maturity, but the mental maturity.
But with that being said, and I'm going to be a little bit of a hypocrite here, there is some really exceptional 14-year-old race car drivers.
Oh, yeah.
No, you're right. But you allow one, you got to allow them all.
Right.
And they're all not exceptional. I mean, you'll have your
There's
couple,
some bad ones out there.
There are some bad ones, and I mean,
Right.
you know, you don't need to be messing with them.
All right, so I got to step back a little bit and talk about what was going on over there at Belleville with the USMTS guys. Eric, he said they're afraid of losing motors on the big track. Big Tank is a motor-eating track. It is. There's no doubt. That is a motor-eating racetrack.
It's not your normal half-mile racetrack.
You got to keep them wound up over there.
It's like a big circle.
It is. You keep those motors wound up, and they don't breathe much.
No. So it is hard on equipment. There's no doubt about that.
Greg said USMTS driver says it's too much wear on the motors. I wonder how many big names will be there Monday and Tuesday.
That's going to be interesting to see, just how many late models are going to show up. They pay well. This XR Super Series pays well, but will the money overshadow how tough that racetrack?
How much does that race pay to win?
I'll find that. But what's harder on equipment, Bristol or Belleville?
You got a point.
You all showed up at Bristol.
That's right. And they keep them wide open around that place, don't they?
Yeah. You don't complain about Bristol.
Yeah,
I
that's
guess
true.
It's just the name.
That's a good point. You got a good point, Austin. You always bring up some good topics there. I just think if you're going to run at Belleville, you got to run on the big track, period. That's just me.
Hey, one note, I want to get this in while we're still on Sports Radio 810. And you brought up Dave Tyson there. The Legends Picnic at Lakeside Speedway tomorrow at 11 o'clock.
Right.
We're going to be out there.
Lunch starts at noon.
And I think everybody starts gathering about 11 o'clock tomorrow. Some of the legends will be there, and you want a bench race, come join us out at Lakeside Speedway tomorrow at 11 o'clock.
That'll be a good gathering out
Food
there
is
tomorrow.
catered by Christie's.
Right. They do a good job.
It'll be fun.
Their food's pretty damn good, too, by the way.
Back to Belleville.
Yeah.
25,000 win on Monday for Supers and 50,000 win on Tuesday. 2,500 to start.
25,000 on Monday, 50 on Tuesday.
2,500 to start?
Yep.
It'll be interesting to see how many show up and are worried about how hard Belleville is on equipment. That'll be interesting to see what the car count's going to be.
We're going to see some of the guys that aren't running for points with either the World of Outlaw Late Model Series or the Lucas Oil Late Model Series show up and run that race.
My guess is they'll have a pretty decent late model car count there.
Yeah. Lloyd says, I'm curious how many will make the 13-hour trip to Belleville from Eldora. 13 hours isn't much for those guys.
Who was the name of that driver from Colorado that always did well at Belleville? Kelly Bowen. Remember, he just owned that racetrack. Will he come out of retirement and find a race car to come out? That guy owned that racetrack back in the day. I remember that.
Yeah. All right, we're going to take our final break here before we wrap up the show. When we come back, Lee Spencer, Racing Boys' own, is going to join us here on the show. We'll talk a little bit about what happened at Gateway last week and a little bit about dirt racing as well. Lee Spencer joins us next here on Sports Radio 810. It's Track Talk. It's all brought to you by Lucas Oil Products. It works.
Track Talk. Next to your vehicle's engine, your transmission is the most important component of your car. If it's not properly maintained, your car may not shift properly. By adding Lucas Transmission Fix to your transmission, it cleans and lubricates sticking valves for proper shifting, renews worn bands to stop slipping, stops seal leaks, will not void new car warranties, contains no harmful solvents. Lucas Transmission Fix. It works.
Hi, I'm Fred Ramsey. And I'm Mark Tobin. Hey, folks, if you're not busy Saturday mornings from 6 to 7 a.m., well, I hope you'll join us for the Midwest Outdoors, brought to you by Reed Chevrolet St. Joe.
Join us and our expert guests, and we'll be talking about hunting and fishing, dog training. We'll give you tips, pass along stories, and most important, share some laughs along the way.
That's right. We cover it all, from crappie to waterfowl, and we'll tell you how to cook it, too.
The Midwest Outdoors, brought to you by Reed Chevrolet, Saturday morning, 6 a.m. to 7 a.m., right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB.
When you're thinking about New Orleans, why not let jazz cook for you.
Laissez le bon temps rouler. Let the good times roll. That's what we do at Jazz. Papa Vic here to tell you about what's happening at your favorite restaurant, Jazz, a Louisiana kitchen. COVID still got you down? No worries. We're open. Come in and let Jazz cook for you. We partner with Proactive Protect to provide nanotechnology protection that sanitizes all our tables, chairs, and the interior of the restaurant. So come on in. Everybody is safe. Tired of your mama's cooking? Check out our website, jazzkitchens.com, and place your order online or through Menufy. Not comfortable coming in? Check out our dedicated curbside parking spots, and we'll bring the taste of New Orleans to your car. 3 locations, the original at 39th and State Line, and at Legends of Village West, our newest location in Independence at I-70 and 291, just east of the Cable Dahmer Arena. Jazz, with a Dixieland band and a sultry day and everybody.
Yes, if you're dreaming about New Orleans, that's Jazz do your cooking up for you.
Jazz, where there's always a party every night.
Besame Wellness, a Missouri-based fully licensed cannabis dispensary built with community in mind. Check them out at any of their 5 locations in the metro. They provide award-winning customer service and unbeatable online experiences. It's convenient. You can order online with delivery or express pickup. They even offer payment at your doorstep. That's right, you can order from the comfort of your own home and have it delivered to your front door. Order online by going to besamewellness.com. That's besamewellness.com or call 816-775-2920. Besame Wellness, easy and convenient.
Ray Magliozzi here for eBay Motors. Okay, easy now. You're teaching your kid how to parallel park. Ouch! Turns out he likes to do it by feel. Don't worry, eBay Motors has bumpers, taillights, trunk lids, license plate holders, 122 million parts. Pull up just a little bit. And headlights. They've got lots of headlights. Get the right parts at the right prices. eBay Motors. Let's ride.
Sports Radio 810 WHB is your home for the Kansas City Current. Tune in to hear the Current take on Gotham FC Saturday with coverage beginning at 7:30. Live coverage is presented by Margaritas. Enjoy a Mexican fiesta every night at Margaritas. Margaritas has been serving Kansas City award-winning Mexican food for over 38 years. Visit one of their 5 locations, including the original on Southwest Boulevard, for lunch or dinner today. Margaritas, a proud sponsor of women's sports. The Current take on Gotham FC Saturday at 7:30 on Sports Radio 810 WHB.
Hi, I'm Steve Hedgepath with Quad Power Products. We know that time is money, and we pride ourselves in getting our customers back up and running quickly. At Quad Power Products, we can duplicate your hydraulic hose assemblies while you wait, in most cases getting you back out the door in 15 minutes or less. We have an excellent inventory of hydraulic hoses, quick couplers, and adapters, and we pair it with the best customer service. Come see us today, Quad Power Products on Hickman Mills Drive, just south of the Triangle in South Kansas City.
Welcome back to Track Talk. It's all brought to you by Lucas Oil Products. It works. I want to thank for their support for the last, Lucas Oil's been with us for a good 11, 12 years. So they've been a great partner of the Racing Boys for a long time. They sponsored our Lucas Oil ASES National Tour broadcast forever. They are a great partner of the Racing Boys. We want to thank all those guys over there so much for being a big part of our show. Again, Lucas Oil Products, it works. Joining us now on the show is Lee Spencer. Lee, how you doing?
I'm great. How's it going?
It's going. We're just sitting around here in the studio shooting the bull. Did you watch Knoxville last night?
I did watch Knoxville last night. It was about the only place that wasn't raining.
Right. I know that was kind of a bummer what happened at Eldora last night. Kind of a teaser all night. The cars were out there racing on the track, and it was sprinkling the whole time. It never really let up, and they finally lost the track last night. They're going to get underway again today.
And Gas City got rained out.
Gas City was rained out as well.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. So,
well, which kind of helped me out because I didn't have to watch stuff on the computer. I could kind of.
Right.
It was like All Stars ended, and then World of Outlaws started. So the features kind of all worked out, so it was a beautiful thing. But yeah, Brent Marks had a sporty night against the All-Star or the Outlaw regulars.
Yeah, didn't you feel there that at one point that Brian Brown had the speed and he was going to be able to?
Oh my gosh!
Yeah,
is he kicking himself this morning or what?
Well, I think what really happened there is that he had the big run. They took the white, and he had that big run, and it was the lap before the white, I think it was.
Yeah.
He had that big run, and it looked like he had the speed to go around him on the outside, but Brett Marks just kept coming up, and finally Brown had to jump out of the gas. Brown is as brave as anybody when it comes to staying on the outside of somebody and making.
Well, and he knows the track better than any. You know what I'm saying? I mean, he runs regularly at that track, so it's not like he doesn't know the track. But I think you're right. I think Marks had the better car at the end.
Well, and I'm not so sure that Logan Schuchart might not have had the best car, to be honest.
Well,
with you.
that too. I mean, he was certainly coming and making a charge there at the finish, but. It was a great race. I mean, I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I thought it was really good last night. That was his third half-mile win of the 22 season. He sweeps the night. Do you think that the PA Posse people are a little proud of Brett Marks after last night's win?
Well, absolutely. Between him and Dietrich winning, the All-Star contest in Ohio, I mean, right. I think, it was a big night for the Posse, and everybody else was kind of getting left over.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's not the first time.
But that's huge, to go to, especially on Brownie's, his kind of home turf. I mean, it was like, I thought that was a great display of racing.
Yeah. That was his first win at Knoxville, too, by the way, last night.
But it's not his first win on a big half-mile race. You remember how well he did at Devil's Bowl Speedway earlier this year?
Kirk, I just said that. That's his third half-mile win of the year. Yeah. So, did you watch Eldora? Did you watch The Million?
I watched that. I mean, watching it over the last 2 nights, just keeping an eye on things. I mean, I thought it was pretty sporty. The amount of people that showed up for that, right?
Yeah.
I just, this is a crazy time of year because there's so much racing and not enough time. And,
right.
It was just the fact that they were able to pull it off. And, I mean, you have to, realize the challenges that Eldora's been faced with having to bring in someone else to manage that track. And, it's the meat of their schedule is coming up now. So for them to be able to pull things off the way they did, I think that despite the rain, it's been a good run for them.
I thought there for a second, I said this during Mostly Motorsports this week. If I'm Chris Madden and I make that move on that restart and we're down to the final few laps of that race, I'm not going to cut Jonathan Davenport any breaks. I'm gonna bring my car up to the wall. When he comes out off of turn 2, Jonathan Davenport had a little bit of a run going, but Chris Madden could have taken his car to the wall and taken the line away from him. That's what I would have done. But I think Chris Madden kind of gave him a little bit of a break. Don't you feel like that, Kurt?
Yeah, a little bit. And I was kind of surprised that he would, really, with $1 million on the line. Who would give anybody a break in that circumstance?
No, I agree.
I don't think there are any rules when you're getting that late into the event and $1 million on the line. I'm going balls out.
Yeah.
I think the biggest surprise of the night to me maybe would have been that only 5 cars finished on the lead lap. That's amazing.
Yeah, because we didn't see a yellow flag till 83 laps into the race.
Right, exactly.
So, I mean, Davenport was just clicking them off one by one till we saw that first yellow. But then after we saw that first yellow, then we had a number of them after that to close it out. So the double file restarts, Lee, to me, that's the best thing that's ever came about. I wasn't in favor of it at first because I'm kind of an old codger. I don't like a lot of change. But double file restarts have saved racing.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, we've seen it in NASCAR, right? It just makes it interesting, and then NASCAR takes it one step farther with the choose cone.
Yeah.
And so you might not have the best 2, 3, 4 cars, lining up, and so I think that even makes for more excitement.
Yeah. No doubt. I just thought it was a fantastic race, really, to be honest with you. I thought McCready was going to win that race for a moment there because, what was it, around lap 30? Was there about 30 to go, Austin, when Tim McCready started making his move down on the bottom?
Yeah, right here on the video I got playing, lap 26 to go, he just got to the inside of Davenport.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Austin, you were mentioning something about some concrete that you saw on the racetrack. I don't know if you can.
They just passed it.
Right. If you can show it. We're on. Oh, I can see right where you're talking about. Yeah. Yeah, maybe they got a little extra grip down there. But McCready ended up having that right rear flat, and I think it was over for him at that point. But the great thing about it is that there was only 5 cars on the lead lap, and he still ends up running fourth.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was pretty cool.
Big weekend in St. Louis. They hit a home run in your hometown of St. Louis last weekend. You got to be proud.
Oh, my gosh. That race had everything. And I posted a story this morning on Racing Boys about Michael McDowell. And at one point, 100 laps into the race, 9 of the guys that were running in the top 10 at the time had not won this year. Kurt Busch was the only guy in the top 10. So, new track, new car, new faces up front, new feuds. I mean,
right.
What didn't that race have? And I have no doubt they'll be back there next year. NASCAR's talking a lot about moving races around and, getting into new markets. And, having an urban market like that, we went to LA Coliseum earlier this year, which is smack dab in the middle of Los Angeles. This track is
2 minutes,
5-10 minutes from downtown St. Louis. And when you get in an urban center like that, you're going to bring in new eyeballs to the sport. And I think from every aspect, NASCAR accomplished what they wanted to do by going to Gateway last week.
Yeah. It was amazing. And the way the groove widened out was really amazing to me. We saw it in the truck race the day before, but it really widened out during the Cup race, didn't it?
Oh, my gosh. These guys thought that it was going to be a one-groove race. The drivers were all whining on Saturday saying, hey, the only way you're going to be able to pass somebody is on pit road or on restarts. And when you saw the slide jobs going on in the closing, laps of that race between Logano and Kyle Busch, I thought it got really racy there at the end. And so from an entertainment factor, I think that track gave you, everything that you were looking for and more.
And that's the first sellout at any racetrack in a long time, isn't it?
90 seconds.
I don't know whether it's the only one, but, certainly it was, there were over 100,000, 100,000 at that track. And so, just to have that kind of exposure, it was big. And, all across the board, what you saw, I think it was Matt Collig, who was on Sirius this week, said that it felt like, it had such atmosphere. He compared the atmosphere of the Daytona 500.
I
know that.
1 minute.
But, coming from somebody who has played in major sports all his life, just to make that comparison alone, kind of speaks volumes for what Chris Blair, has been able to accomplish since, taking over that track.
Lee, we're right at the top of the hour. Tell everybody where you're going to be on you're going to be on Sirius Satellite Radio this morning. Tell everybody quickly for me, would you?
Press pass in an hour.
All right. Press pass in an hour, Sirius Satellite Radio. Lee Spencer, she's the best. Thank you, Lee. We appreciate you.
Take care, gentlemen.
All right, there you have it, Lee Spencer. Don't forget, hour number 2 is coming up. You can watch it on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, or racingboys.com.
30.
It's going to be the 3 of us plus Todd Surprise. It's going to be a good show. We hope that you'll join us. Hope you follow us around the corner. It's all been brought to you by Lucas Oil Products. It works. For Kirk Elliott, for Austin O'Neill, for Todd Surprise, I'm Scott Traylor saying thanks for joining us. We'll see you right around the corner, hour number 2.
A new Buick or GMC has a 90-day money-back guarantee.
Good show, fellas.
Thanks, my man. Appreciate it.
GMC.
Y'all have a good one.
You have a good weekend. Thanks.
Special allocation of the redesigned 2022 GMC.
Mr. Taking care of your car is a responsibility. It ensures the long life of your car and its expensive components. That's why Lucas Oil takes automotive protection so seriously. Lucas heavy-duty oil stabilizer bonds with motor oil to shield engines from heat and wear. So take pride in caring for your car and pass that pride and knowledge to the next generation for years of smooth, reliable driving on the long road ahead. Trust Lucas Oil. It works.
Go harder, faster, stronger with Rod End Supply. Whether you are running industrial, farming equipment, or a race car, Rod End Supply has the assortment of rod ends, radius rods, and specialty products that will help you lead the field in performance. Our superior design means our rod ends last longer and perform better, giving you the edge on the track and saving you money. Contact Rod End Supply or order online today at rodendsupply.com. We don't just sell them, we race them. rodendsupply.com. Serving the racing community for over 30 years.
At Lucas Oil, we take pride in creating problem-solving products to make your car care easier. We protect your vehicle and make it run longer so you can focus on the things that matter most. Whether it's commuting to work, visiting a loved one, taking the kids where they need to go, going to the big game, or anywhere life takes you, Lucas Oil is committed to getting you there for all of life's important moments. Lucas Oil, it works.
Here at Specialty Sportswear in-house, we do all of the screen printing, all the embroidery. We do some vinyl. The other add specialty items like your pens, magnets, notepads, calendars. You can actually buy that, build your business to make it larger. We have the largest screen printing process and the largest embroidery anywhere around in the area. We can do stuff all the way from your school clubs to sports teams, a professional look in the office. If you can imagine it, we can do it for you.
One of the main reasons for poor vehicle performance is a dirty fuel system. It can cause decreased fuel economy and actually do harm to your engine over time. By adding Lucas Fuel Treatment to your vehicle, it cleans and lubricates the entire fuel system. Pump, carburetors, fuel injectors, and valves as you drive. It also improves your vehicle's performance. It's a non-solvent product designed to protect both gasoline and diesel engines. Lucas Fuel Treatment. It works.
Cigarport.ca is your go-to online store for exclusive cigars produced from the best quality tobacco in the world.
There is less than 1/100th of an inch of motor oil protecting your car's engine. Friction and heat causes engine oil to experience thermal breakdown, weakening its ability to protect the engine and its parts. Lucas Heavy Duty Oil Stabilizer is specially formulated to resist thermal breakdown, protect vital engine parts, and extend the life of your engine. It also stops smoking, knocking, and oil consumption in worn engines. Lucas Heavy Duty Oil Stabilizer. Keep that engine alive.
Missouri's must play getaway. Osage National Golf Resort.
3 9-hole courses to choose from at the Lake of the Ozarks in the Osage River Valley. Stay and play packages in our first-class condos. A beautiful clubhouse complete with pro shop and exercise facilities. A large pool for relaxation and families. The Eagle View Sports Bar and Grill. Great wedding facilities. Go online and make your tee time today.
Race fans, the National Sprint Car Hall of Fame and Museum is open 7 days a week, year-round, for you to come in and check out all of the wonderful race cars on display in the museum And our online store at sprintcarstuff.com is open 24 hours a day for you to check out everything that we have in stock for Sprint Car fans. Whether it's for a birthday, anniversary, or Christmas, SprintCarStuff.com has it all. That's at the National Sprint Car Hall of Fame and Museum in Knoxville.
Next to your vehicle's engine, your transmission is the most important component of your car. If it's not properly maintained, your car may not shift properly. By adding Lucas Transmission Fix to your transmission, it cleans and lubricates sticking valves for proper shifting, renews worn bands to stop slipping, stops seal leaks, will not void new car warranties, contains no harmful solvents. Lucas Transmission Fix. It works.
Hey everybody, this is Larry the Cable Guy, and if you're not listening to the Racing Boys, then you've got some sort of head problems. You gotta listen to the Racing Boys. Get her done!
Welcome to Hour 2 of Track Talk on the Racing Boys Broadcasting Network. Brought to you by Lucas Oil Products. Made in America, sold to the world. Here again are the Racing Boys, Scott Traylor and Kirk Elliott.
Welcome back. It's Track Talk here on RBN, the Racing Boys Broadcasting Network. I'm Scott. He's Kirk. Todd Surprise, Austin O'Neill helping us run the show here. We want to thank Blake for helping us in hour number 1 over at Sports Radio 810 WHB. It's been a good show so far. I know we were supposed to play the interview for Wayne Johnson in hour number 1, but you, the hour number 2 listeners, you're the one that's going to get it. Right? So we're going to play it here. We got 2 interviews that we're going to play here in hour number 2. Wayne Johnson and Derek Kissinger. Is that how you say it?
Yeah.
Kissinger?
This was before the
Is it Kissinger or Kessinger?
Right.
How do you pronounce it? Come on.
Derek Kessinger.
Kessinger.
I think so.
Kessinger.
Late model guru. He's late models.
Man, there's not many people that know more about late models.
Now, this interview was before the Eldora Million.
It was, yeah.
But
But
it's still an interesting interview.
We were talking in hour number 1 about the fight at Williams-Grove. This is in the 410 class, isn't it, Austin? Right?
Yes. Last night at Williams-Grove.
Do we know
Speedway.
the drivers' names? Do we have the drivers' names of this? Can they find the drivers' names? Because, listen, this was a scrappy little brawl that happened last night.
Tyler Ross, Justin Whittle.
All right, let's take a look at this, and let's let it run and watch what happens here. Somebody is not happy.
That's Justin Whittle. That jumped off the top
But we didn't
wing.
see how the crash happened, right?
Look. This isn't your they were going at it pretty good, man, for helmets on. Now, why would you punch somebody in the face with a helmet? All it does is hurt your hand.
Man, that's not...
They're wrestling around pretty good, though, don't you think?
The poor track officials, the meat and the sandwich there.
Hold on. Pause it right there, Austin. How about the guy in the red shirt?
He should have pulled his phone out and started filming
Not once did the old dude even try to get in there and help.
Well, he was entertained by it. This is
all
pretty
he
cool,
wanted
man.
to do was stay out of the middle of it. That guy had... I got the caution flag. That's my job.
He didn't want anything to do.
I don't want anything to do with this fight right here. I might get a black eye or get punched in the face. All right, let it roll a little bit more. Let's see what happens here, Austin. So they're going at it pretty good. I mean, listen, there's 3 officials trying to break him up right there. Here comes Big Boy in. Come on, get up off the ground. Quit acting like a fool.
Hold on, let me pull the video up. I got a better fight than this.
You do?
That was not nothing that I thought you would have.
I mean, is it a recent fight?
Yeah, September.
September. That's not too recent.
Just give me one.
Just so you know, Austin.
The last fight in my mind. Just give me a second.
All right.
You know what I hate about watching fights like we just witnessed here? We didn't see the crash that caused it. I don't know which guy was in what car.
Who was wrong or who was right.
Yeah, it's hard to really make a comment about it when you didn't see the crash.
You know, when I'd fight, when I raced, it didn't matter if I was wrong or right. didn't really matter.
No. You had some fights back then.
Oh, I had some fights back in the day. Who's this here?
Jason Martin, Tyler Blank.
Oh, this is at
Lucas Oil.
Lucas Oil Speedway. Oh, that's a pretty good one.
I remember this one.
Yeah.
This was during the
Jesse
Hockett.
The highlight clip messed.
McMillan Memorial.
But the officials got in there and broke them up a lot quicker.
Well, the highlight clip missed the tackle by Blank on Jason Martin.
And this is a Racing Boys video, by the way.
Yes, on YouTube.
Oh, this is when we were still in the video business.
This is our video.
We're not in it anymore. Gosh, Kirk, are you glad you're not in the video business anymore?
Yeah. I am.
You know why we got, one of the biggest reasons we got out of the video business? Because Kirk is going to retire. What are you going to do, Kirk, when you're not hanging out with Austin and me?
I'll be seeing you at the racetrack.
Yeah, you're going to be up in Iowa. We're going to be down here in Missouri.
I'll still be around here once in a while. I'm not going to totally disappear from Kansas
You know what we
City.
need you, Kirk, you know what we need you to do? We need you to move to Holt or Kearney. That way you're close by.
I was going to move to Holt. I was close to moving to Holt, Missouri. So about a year ago.
We need you to be close enough to come in and set in for me if I get sick.
Yeah.
We got a spare bedroom up there for you, though.
Yeah.
You've slept here before, haven't you?
Sure.
Yeah.
When you're out of town.
Right.
Never when you're here.
Never once while we're here, though. Yeah. I don't know. I think. I don't know. Should we play maybe the Wayne Johnson interview?
Hey, I want to mention that
What?
410 race last night was won by Chris Dietz. Won that 410 feature at Williams Grove last night. Over Freddie Raymer, TJ Stutz, and Devin Borden finished fourth, and Dylan Norris was fifth.
What were you going to say, Austin?
I think he meant to say Chase Dietz.
Chase Dietz.
75?
75.
I said Chris. Chase Dietz.
Chase.
75 car.
Are your eyes slipping in a little bit?
Yeah.
Kurt?
Thanks for the correction there, Austin. Chase Dietz.
Wayne Johnson, right?
Yeah, let's do that. So we had a chance to talk to Wayne Johnson. He won down at Creek County last week, and we talked to him about, what was that, Mickey Walker Classic, right?
Yeah, we kind of talked about his win, and he's kind of changing up his program a little bit on what he has behind the car and under the car and kind of some inner team stuff, but he kind of gives us an insight on what he did different for the Mickey Walker Classic.
The great thing about Wayne is he's committed to the Lucas Oil ASCS National Tour this year, which brings a little more star power back to the series, I think. I think with a name brand guy like Wayne Johnson, who's been running with the World of Outlaws for the last couple of years, him coming back, going to put a lot of pressure on some of the guys that are going to contend for the championship, like Blake Hahn, Dylan Westbrook, Matt Covington. Who am I forgetting, Austin? There's one more in there I'm forgetting. Westbrook. I said Westbrook. I think I said Westbrook. Anyway, it's going to be a good season. I'm looking forward to the Lucas Oil ASCS National Tour season because Wayne's back there and going to mix it all up. So this is our interview that we did with Wayne. What day did we do this? Do you remember? Tuesday. We did this interview with Wayne Johnson on Tuesday after he picked up the win at Creek County at the Mickey Walker Classic. This is Wayne Johnson on Mostly Motorsports. How about your win last weekend at Creek, man? That was pretty big for you, wasn't it?
Yeah, definitely. I hadn't been there 4 or 5 years, and we're experimenting with a few things, trying to get better with our car and some new products that are out, and just thought it would be a good weekend to go try and see how we get around that place, just like I say, because we haven't been there in so long, and
yeah,
it worked out pretty good because all the old notes that I had still worked pretty good for that place.
All right, so we're going to get into it. That was a new car that you took to Creek, right?
Yes.
And you're talking about experimenting. Can we get inside your space a little bit and give us an idea what you were trying to accomplish experimenting with this new car?
Well, I mean, I can't let the hat out of the bag, or
right,
it would be,
right.
That's how I'm trying to get an edge, so I don't want everybody to know what I'm doing, but
yeah,
just trying some new products and new parts that that's out there in the market that some guys are already doing, and just, didn't know how it was going to react, and learned a lot. Still think we could be much better. So, it's going to be a deal where I won't run that stuff and at any national race just yet until I feel like we've really got it figured out. Because I still think we're still a little off with it, honestly.
Yeah. So, Wayne, how hard is it for you as a guy that's been around this game a long, long time, man? You've done it all, right? How hard is it for you to venture out of your box and try some additional components maybe that you haven't tried before? Is it tough for you to do that sometimes?
Well, it is, because honestly, through the years past, the stuff that I've used has worked really well, and I feel like we've been competitive everywhere, and just felt like, didn't need to do these things. Well, when you go get your ass beat every week with the Outlaws and you see these guys doing different things, then it makes you thinking outside the box and wanting to be better. I mean, I always want to be better, but I just felt like before our package was really good. So it was just time to start trying some different things, and these young fellas are making it hard on this old guy, so I'm trying to get some advantages.
Yeah. Wayne, I know we spoke about it before, but I want to go back because originally you were going to just try to run an outlaw schedule and just do whatever you wanted to do, but for whatever reason, you and Todd figured out that you had a really good chance of maybe contending for this championship with the Lucas Oil ASCS National Sprint Car Tour. Take us through that mindset and when you changed your mind to go and run for the points with the National Tour.
Well, really and truly, after going to Delville, and I know we won the first race and was leading the points and all that stuff, but more than anything, the format has really changed our mind, because the draw really dictated a lot of things years past.
Yep.
And with the way they're doing it now, the driver kind of has his own fate in his hand, just like, at an Outlaw show or All-Star show or Knoxville with qualifying.
Yep.
And I actually think the way that Terry's doing this, it's better than an Outlaw show or Knoxville, the way that, that you still get passing points and qualifying points. So really and truly, that was the biggest factor. And, his schedules through the Midwest, not dragging me all the way to the West Coast or the East Coast or whatever. And, I'm wanting to slow down and just like now we've got a little time off and for a week or two, and then back on, back with the schedule in a week or two. So, it's just work. It's just, there's multiple things that played into it. With the schedule the way it is, I only need one full-time guy, where, before I had three full-time guys, and our payroll was really, really up there. It cost a lot of money to have three full-time guys. So there was a lot of things that played into it, but more than anything, honestly, I think it was the format for me anyway.
Yeah. Wayne, do you think, because you've been qualifying with the Outlaws and running the 410, do you think qualifying is kind of in your wheelhouse? Do you think you might have a little bit of an advantage over some of the other guys that haven't been qualifying for the last few years?
Maybe a little bit, but honestly, I've never been a great qualifier anyway. So, and I think that stems back from ASCS. Every race you get, every lap you got a race, from the draw and that thing. So, but maybe a little bit, Scott, but I really just think that it sets your fate, with qualifying. And I think that if you got a good package, no matter what, you should be able to make decent laps. But I'm sure it helps a bit.
So that's Wayne Johnson. That's a conversation we had. That's just a part of the conversation. That interview was probably a good 20 minutes long, 25 minutes long. That's typically how long we have our guest on with us on Mostly Motorsports. So if you want to hear it in its entirety, you can go back to racingboys.com, click on the banner that says Mostly Motorsports. It will take you to all of... What episode are we on now, Austin?
We should be rolling up to 109.
109. Is that crazy or what? 109 episodes already.
Wayne Johnson's always been an interesting character.
Yeah.
Never afraid to say what's on his mind.
Right.
Is Wayne Johnson.
Kirk, I think we need to talk a little bit about, I know Jacob Denny, he picked up the win at Lincoln Park Speedway. earlier this week. But I think that's not the biggest story that come out of Lincoln Park that night. Would you say?
Top 4 finishers were females. Or top 4 finishers in the qualifying were females.
Yeah.
Time trials.
Jade Avedissian, Kaylee Bryson, Taylor Reimer, and Mariah. How do you say that?
Eid.
Mariah Eid.
Mariah Eid. Tell me a little bit about Mariah Eid. You were telling me a little bit of her background, Austin. Can you fill all of our listeners in on what you know about her?
Yeah, well, she comes from a racing family that's kind of well-rooted in USAC. So back in the 90s when Ryan Newman was competing in USAC and he won the USAC Silver Crown Championship, he was driving for the Eid family. It was a white and blue and orange 14 car. I believe her grandfather owned that car, and then her dad raced, and then now she's racing, and she came from Micros. She ran the Joe B development program a couple years ago. And then got into her own cars last year, and then now made the step to Keith Kunz Midgets, and is making her first full season in midget racing.
That's the first time 4 females have been the top qualifiers at any USAC race. Is that correct?
Right.
First time.
And all but Jade Avedissian were driving Keith Kunz cars, including Kaylee Bryson and Taylor Reimer, all driving in Keith Kunz Motorsports cars. Jade Avedissian in CBI car.
Right. So how big a deal is that in our sport right now to have 4 women? I mean, you go back and you look at some of the drivers that they out-qualified, right? Zach Dahm, Jerry Coons, Jacob Denny, the winner of the race. Brady Bacon was there. Justin Grant was there. There was a lot of guys
Everybody was there.
Everybody was there, right? How big a deal is it to have 4 women qualify in the top 4 positions? How big a deal is that?
That's pretty big. I mean, that's well worth a good story on it.
Does that mean the ladies are starting to make a comeback? Out of all these girls that qualified in the top 4, which one of those do you think has got the most potential out of all of them?
Right now, to have, say, Kaylee Bryson.
I'm going to say Jade Avedissian.
I think a mix between both Kaylee and Jade.
Yeah.
And that's going to be the big story when one of these girls wins an A main. Now we've got really a big story to talk about.
Yeah.
I think that's going to happen, too, at some point.
Ken says Bryson is going to get a USAC win. I agree.
Yeah, she's definitely in contention for it. I mean, it's just a matter of time, and I think at some point Jade will get hers, too. But she last year she fired off really good and was the talk of the pits, and then this year she had a couple good races at the start of the year and just kind of fell stagnant until about started midget week.
What race was it where she started at the back of the field and ended up running 3rd or 4th?
Tri-State during midget week. Kaylee did.
That was maybe her best run ever. Would you agree with that?
I mean, best drive, probably.
Coming through the field.
But she's had some good races.
Yeah. I'm not saying that she hasn't, but I'm just saying that was one of the most impressive runs that I've seen her have. To come from, I think she started like 22nd.
Yeah, I believe she came through the B main. I think it's what Kirk told us last week.
Yeah. So I'm pretty impressed with the females coming up through the race. How bad do we need how bad does motorsports need a female driver to come through and start winning races? How much does our sport need that right now?
Well, I think it would be big. I would think it would help out a lot. Does it need it right now? I don't think so, because the racing's good anyway, but it would just take it to a new level. In drag racing, we've seen females do well forever.
Well, Kirk, let's be fair.
Track racing, it's not been that way.
Let's be fair. It's more demanding on these open-wheel racers than it is for a drag racer.
Yes.
Yeah, no doubt about that.
Yeah. I mean, drag racing is about reaction time, reading the light, good reflexes, but you only race the women that are successful are in the pro ranks, right? I don't know about in the sportsman divisions. I'm sure there's a lot of successful women in the sportsman divisions, but in the professional levels, they only run for what? At the most, 7-8 seconds, right?
Yeah.
In pro stock, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
In NASCAR,
I don't want to sound like a male chauvinist pig, to be honest with you.
Well, that's what you sound like.
I didn't mean to.
I remember when Danica was out here at Kansas Speedway,
Right.
and you had a little mix-up with
Danica
in the Q&A.
She didn't like me too much, did she?
It's the first thing that came to my mind when you mentioned that.
You know, we have, Haley Deegan in the Truck Series right now, but, we had a lot of hope and potential for her to be great when she came to the series. And, her first year, she was a top 25, top 20 car every night, and we just kind of wrote it off as her just learning the adjustment to the Truck Series. And you get into her second year this year, and she hasn't improved much.
She hasn't really.
She's crashing and not having good runs and just
not making it happen.
I don't know if she's the best representative for the women.
That's what I was kind of getting to. I mean, it's just we've put a lot. Recently we put a lot of I'd say hope into her and kind of thinking she's the next one, and I don't think that she's proven it. I mean, if you can't run in a Truck Series race, I mean that's the lowest level in national touring NASCAR series, and
just so
that's not good.
Just so you know, it's still not easy.
No, never said it was easy, but I mean, it's just you're not her
talent
providing.
Her talent isn't shining through.
Yes,
right.
But these girls we're talking about, the top 4 in time trials at Lincoln Park Speedway the other night. They're talented girls.
Out of those 4, who do you think would be best for NASCAR?
I think the next one goes Kaylee. With her being in the Toyota development program, she's
success-wise. You're talking about on-track success-wise. You think that Kaylee is the next one?
I think so. I mean, just look at what she's done in her short time with USAC, and then, like I said, she's in the Toyota program. She's won pavement late model races on the East Coast.
And she looks like she's really fit.
Yeah,
when she crawled out of that car the other night, she looked like a race car driver.
Yeah. Well, she recently moved to North Carolina, and like I said, she's in the program with Toyota, so she does daily routines with them, and is exclusively a driver of Toyota. They do their whole driver program.
I don't want. I'm going to sound terrible when I say this, but I think if you go by. I'm going to go by looks. Taylor Reimer is the one.
Yeah.
Anybody disagree with me on that one?
No, I mean, if you're going on looks, then yeah.
Yeah. But she's pretty talented as a driver.
She's sat on the front row of Turkey Night, and she's had really good runs. She just can't put it all together.
Right.
But she's been out of the seat, for a couple of years.
Oh, she was.
Yeah, 'cause she went to college. I believe she raced. Yeah, I believe she raced micros at Port City for a while. Then she went to college and was out of the seat for a while and came back. Last year, the year before that.
Well, she's pretty impressive.
Yeah, I mean, for the short time she's in the seat, she's actually. I mean, they're all doing really good.
Yeah, yeah. I don't mean that any of the other girls aren't attractive.
But these 4,
I'm not saying that.
Yeah,
I'm just saying that it seems like, I was raised by women, so I critique the way women look, and I don't mean that in a bad way.
These 4 gals are really serious too about what they're doing.
Oh, no doubt.
And they're all smart. Taylor Reimer's really smart gal, and you look at all 4 of them; they've each got their own qualities to them. When Jade Abdijian won that $20,000 at Sweet Springs here a couple 3 years ago.
Yeah, right.
I mean, the way she handled herself in that to win that kind of money, that kind of pressure on the line, and delivered. She's got a bright future.
I'm kind of pulling for Jade, to be honest with you.
Yeah,
a little bit. I met her at this KC Raceway. They raced there one night.
Yes.
You remember that night? We did the live video there. Were you racing that night?
No, I went up there and sat with you and ran the camera with. I didn't run the camera. I sat up there and talked to you while you ran the camera.
Right. Cameraman Scott. That's not my favorite thing to do. But anyway, long story short, her and her mom sat up there with me there for a little bit, and they were really nice people. I was really impressed with them. I thought that they were exceptional people. Look at the effect leading Look at the effect Danica leading the 500 had. That's what Ken said. Pete says, we don't need another Danica. Too much hype and not enough results. You think one of these girls is more talented than Danica? Listen, Danica, as much as people loved Danica, and the female crowd really loved Danica, Danica wasn't, I don't think she's the driver that maybe some of these 4 girls are going to be.
I agree with that. I think...
yeah, she never delivered.
She never delivered. She had quality equipment.
Yeah.
I mean, look at what Eric Almirola did in that car when she got out of it, right? He ran up front in that car all the time, didn't he?
Mm-hmm. What I like about these girls here that we're talking about, they're all about the racing. Danica was more about some of the other stuff. I mean, yeah, she was a race car driver, but she was too full of herself.
Well, that was her problem. She was way too full of herself.
Yeah. And these girls here are not that way. They're about the racing. They just want to go out and beat your ass.
Let me tell you, did Kirk just say ass on the air? And that's the first time I think I've ever heard him say a cuss word. Ass.
I didn't catch it.
He said it. Let me tell you a story about Danica. You remember that time we went out there, Kirk, and they were doing the test out at Kansas Speedway?
Yeah.
Remember that?
Yeah, I remember that well.
So we walk up. We're waiting for Danica to come to do an interview with us. There is a group of 3 people that traveled all the way from Mexico to do an interview with her just that day. And Danica walked up. She looked at her watch. She says, "You have 5 minutes." And so we're all asking our questions, and the people from Mexico are like waiting to do their bit after we're done. And Danica got to 5 minutes on her watch. She says, "That's it." She walked off and left. Left those people standing there, didn't she?
Where did she have to be that was more important than where she was?
She totally stiffed those people.
Yeah, she did.
I never thought much of her after that. These people traveled all the way from Mexico to do an interview with her, and she snubbed them.
It was, with Danica, it was more style over substance. That I didn't like that.
Who's Taylor Ferns? You know who that is? No, I'm not sure who that is.
She had a pretty good finish here. Didn't she finish it like in the top 5 or something of a Silver Crown race here a couple weeks ago?
Only Kirk would remember this.
Oh, I know who that is.
Taylor Ferns. Didn't she? At a Silver Crown race.
IRP.
At IRP on pavement.
That's correct. Really?
Yep.
How about Kirk Elliott pulling that out?
Kirk helped me, so.
Kirk, that's where Kirk excels.
That was the weekend of the Indianapolis.
Yeah, Carb Night.
Kirk has forgotten more than we'll ever know.
Yeah.
Just so you know.
Taylor Ferns. She had a great finish.
Yeah, on the pavement.
Hey, I'm rooting for one of these gals to do it, man. There was nothing that would thrill me more to see one of these ladies step up there and celebrate a big win here.
All right. So we want to play this interview. It's a little lengthy. It's about 20 minutes long. Derek Kissinger. Listen, this guy knows just about everything about late model racing. And D-Suave. That's what's his show called? D-Suave? Isn't that it? So anyway,
Suave Talks.
Suave Talks.
He's with Dirt on Dirt. Right?
He's with Dirt on Dirt. Michael Rigsby and him. He works in the studio when they do the pre-race shows in their studio for any of their Racing Night in America, the Flow Racing Night in America shows. So he's a good guy, and he was my cameraman when I was doing the pit reporting for the Short Track Nationals down at Little Rock, Arkansas. And he's turned into a great on-air personality, and this is my conversation with him this week. Let's talk about what's going on at Eldora this week. 124 cars. Are you happy with that number?
Oh, yeah, I'm very happy. Obviously, with certain factors, maybe economy-wise, less people racing nowadays, people just trying to stick close to home. 124 cars is great. The first one they had 275, but that was a different era back in 2001. But you have the 124 of the best in the business. There's not too many, low-tier teams here. So you got all the big money teams. You got a couple other guys from, Sprint Cars and Tyler Courtney and Donnie Schatz. Then you have Chase Briscoe, the NASCAR driver. So it's good, and it's the first time we've had over 120 cars at Eldora for a crown jewel, either the Dirt Late Model Dream or the World 100, that we got over 120 cars. We got 124 this weekend, and actually they just got done with qualifying, and Mike Marlar was the quickest overall, so they're getting ready to run heat races in the prelims.
Yeah, we've had Mike on our show several times over the course of the last 6 months, and he is such a good guy. And I kind of pull for him. Am I understating or overstating? Mike Marlar is not one of the more well-financed teams out there. Would you agree with that or disagree with that?
I would say he has Mr. Delk. He helps out a lot. Mike Marlar, he's a racer through and through. I mean, he started in the modified days, duked it out with Jimmy Owens for a national championship in modifieds in UMP back in 2002. I would say, he's a top 15 team, but man, that guy, he can drive a dump truck. He's been in different rides throughout his career. He's kind of like a little traveler a little bit, switching chassis, but the last, 5 to 6 years he's been with the same car owner, and I think they've got it dialed in, and he debuted a Longhorn here last year and ran top 3 at the World 100, so he's off to a good start and fastest overall. We'll see if he can keep that ball rolling, and maybe he can get $1 million here later tonight.
Yeah, the 157 of Mike Marlar went 15.83 with a 9. Sound like a drag racer right there, just so you know. But anyway, long story short is I'm really happy for him to get up there. I want to bring up Devin Moran just a little bit. It seems like to me, and you correct me if I'm wrong, but it seems like he's a little more committed maybe to the Lucas Oil Late Model Dirt Series. I'm told that he's not going to be running for points in either series, right? But
he's going to run kind of a outlawish schedule, as in not running the World of Outlaws, but kind of doing like the old school Scott Bloomquist, Billy Moyer, where they're just going to go hit up the big shows and compete in certain events. I think he actually skipped out on the Lucas Oil races out in Iowa 2 or 3 weeks ago because the weather was looking bad, and he raced close to home. Got a big time win at Hilltop in Ohio, and he got a big win last week at West Virginia Motor. And obviously this weekend, his dad won the first Eldora Million. There's only been one winner, and it's a Moran. So I feel like he has a little bit of pressure on him. I don't know if he's feeling it, but you can kind of, sense and feel it in the air here at Eldora. They're like, man, this guy, if you want this, it'd be pretty badass.
Yeah. What would you say is the biggest story in late model racing? I know this is we're going backwards just a little bit, but is Brandon Sheppard going over to the Lucas Oil Late Model Dirt Series? Is that the big story over the winter this year?
Well, yeah, that was kind of a shocking news. I think they announced it in April that, Mark Richards and company and that Blue Rocket One team have been supporting the World of Outlaws for a long, long time. I think they just looked at it financially. Lucas Oil had a bunch of $50,000 to win races. They were winning points at the time because leading up to that point, the two series never crossed over on the same weekend, so you could run both. And they decided, we're going to take our talents elsewhere. The Outlaws was always a great success for them. They've won plenty of races, either with Josh or Brandon. But Mark Richards, the team president, I always call him, is like, let's go run some Lucas races. We'll still hit up the big World of Outlaw races like the USA Nationals at Cedar Lake and the Prairie Dirt Classic at Fairbury. But right now they're currently leading the points there, and not too many guys have won both, national championships on both sides. I know Tim McCready and Josh Richards, and I think Scott Bloomquist is the other one, so he'd be the fourth guy if he could pull out a championship this year. So it's pretty cool. Big-time shift in the late model world. It was kind of shocking news when they did it, but, we've had so many races since then, I think people kind of forgot about, and they're kind of, the Sheppy Nation is still going to support him no matter what series he goes to.
Yeah, you're a more of an insider than I am because, I've kind of got to look at everything in motorsports right now. Tell me, was there a falling out between the team and Brandon Sheppard with the World of Outlaws? What caused them to make their mind up to go run with the Lucas Oil Late Model Dirt Series?
Well, I just think because, in their eyes, Lucas Oil, they added 5 or 6, $50,000 to win races on their schedule.
Mm-hmm.
That team, no matter where they unload, it could be in BFE, it could be in Australia. That team is always a top-tier program, and every time they take that car out of the trailer, they're going to be one of the favorites. So I think they wanted a little bit of change of scenery. I don't think there was anything that I know. I mean, I've talked to Sheppard a whole bunch. We're close buddies. I don't think there was anything too crazy that them deciding or bad blood between the two. I just think it was kind of hey, let's try this. This is a one-time shot. We're running the points here in April, and let's give a crack at it.
It seems like to me, and correct me if I'm wrong, D, it seems like to me there's never been a better time to run a late model. You've got the XR series, you've got the Lucas Oil Late Model Dirt Series, you've got the World of Outlaw late models. Has there ever been a better time and more money involved in late model racing than there is right now?
Oh, no. I think when they ran the first $1 million in 2001, there was only three races in the entire country that, only paid $50,000 or more. Now we have, in 2022 alone, 20 races that pay $50,000 or more. So there's a whole bunch of money being thrown at it. I think all the series decided, hey, we need to step up our game when XR came in and started offering all this money for them. So the World of Outlaws, made their points money better. They had more races to add it that paid more money to win. Obviously, Lucas Oil did that. Now you have the Eldora Million back, and then we have another Dirt Late Model Dream Friday and Saturday, which is the second highest paying race of the season. So it's definitely a good time to be in a late model. It's just kind of funny. I was talking to Billy Moyer. He's participating this weekend. He's like, man, I just kind of started racing 20 years earlier because now I'd be in my prime if I was 20 years younger racing for all this big money. So it's kind of cool and funny that he gave me that quote there.
I hate to put you on the spot here, but let me ask you, if you were to measure each series, and I'm sorry to do this to you, but if you were to measure each series, is there one tougher than the other, or are they equal?
Oh, I mean, I just think, 3 or 4 years ago, you would probably say the World of Outlaws are better, and they had Brandon Sheppard, Shane Clanton, Tim McCready. Shane Clanton is back on the World of Outlaws, and, Sheppard went to Lucas Oil. But, I mean, obviously, top to bottom, I think Lucas Oil is just a tad better. I mean, they also have more crown jewel races, per se. I mean, both have great events, don't get me wrong. And it's actually great that we have 2 national series because you're going to have one champion winning $150,000 with the World of Outlaws, and you're going to have another champion with Lucas Oil winning $125,000. So you're going to have 2 guys making some good money. You're going to have, 20 to 24 guys who are going to make money racing the national series. So that's a good thing. But right now I would give the edge over the World of Outlaws. But just like everything, it's a revolving door. And, in 2 years it could be the World Outlaws better and Lucas Oil's, down a little bit. So, but I would say this year, if I gun to the head, I would say Lucas Oil for sure.
How much has the Barry Braun's XR series played in effect to people wanting to run an outlaw schedule? Because he's throwing a lot of money at these deals too.
Well, I mean, Jonathan Davenport, he was been a Lucas Oil regular since pretty much 2015 when he won the championship. He's like, okay, we have all these big races. We have all these, big-time money races with XR. We can go to a World of Outlaw race. They're paying $30,000 close home. We don't have to go all the way, to Minnesota to race a Lucas race. We're going to go, to where the big races are. He's done that. Chris Madden, he pulled off the World of Outlaws leading the points. And earlier in the season, he's running an outlaw schedule than like Devin Moran, Chris Ferguson, guys like that. So I think it's definitely changed the landscape of racing. But I think, all parties and all series said, you know what, we got to step up our game. We can't fall back in the times and be the one, left hanging. So I think they've done all three of them have done a good job. And then you got the Flow Racing Night in America's midweek shows that are paying,
that's great,
$22,000 to $25,000 on a weeknight, leading up to those big-time races on the weekend. So I think it's definitely very beneficial for the drivers and teams because they have plenty of options to go throughout the year.
Yeah, I love your guys' pre-race show that you do in the studio as well, man. That's just a great addition to your weekly broadcast that you guys are doing. That's so much fun to watch.
Yeah, we need you to like come and guest host sometime. We'd love to have you, Scott.
Listen, dude, I'm getting old. I quit the road and I started this podcast with Austin, and we're on the air 6 days a week. I don't have really much time for anything anymore. But you know what? You're a young man. You can still beat up and down the road. You still got a lot of energy left in you. Hey, let's talk about what Tony did. I think the biggest story out of Eldora right now is what Tony Stewart did to take the dirt that they put on there, the new dirt. They took it off and got down to the old dirt and reconditioned the racetrack. That was a major effort by Tony Stewart, wasn't it?
Oh, I mean, usually my entire life, whoever won on Memorial Day weekend the Show Me 100, like Chris Ferguson, that would have been the biggest storyline come that Tuesday after the weekend holiday. But after that Johnny Appleseed Classic and only 5 cars finished and Tyler with the win Sunday of Memorial Day weekend, that was the news of the town. People were saying, oh, my gosh, we're going to be on this track in 2 weeks. It is rough and tumble. People were just getting concerned, like, man, if we're leading this race and the track conditions are going to knock us out, that would just be awful in itself. Well, then they got the track hard. Well, they had a big-time rainstorm on Monday and going into Tuesday, so they were behind the 8 ball, and they definitely will not have been able to race. So Tony and the gang, luckily it's Eldora. They can made the decision to scrape it down to the old dirt, and it's holding up pretty nicely. It's actually pretty smooth. Maybe a little couple of patches there, but it's I think it's going to be a good, entertaining 24 hours per se, because we have a 2-day show going on as we speak. So I think Tony and them did the good thing. I think all the drivers, when they saw it pulling in yesterday before we got rained out, they're like, okay, it looks like the old Eldora. I think they have something to work with, and it's showing here early on a Thursday at the Big E.
I don't know if you were with Dirt on Dirt in 2007, were you?
No, I started in 2011, but I was a big-time, avid supporter, and obviously knew what it was.
We were talking about it a little bit earlier that Kirk and I went to the World 100 there back in the day. In 2007, it was Jimmy Owens' first win there at the World 100.
That was a day race, wasn't it?
It was a day race, and it was blowing dust so bad, and Kirk and I looked at each other and said, oh, this is going to be a shit show right here. Right, and it was one of the best late model races I'd ever seen.
Well, yeah, I think Big E is just one of those tracks. When it's a day race, they can put their brains together and come up with a track condition that will work very, very well for them. And obviously, Eldora is a big, high banked racetrack, and it hardly, knock on wood, it hardly ever takes a 1-lane rubber racetrack. It's just I don't know if it's just like the driving and they can go to different lanes and stuff like that. But yeah, it's definitely one of the few tracks where it's a day race. It can hold on and it can be pretty good. But also, I mean, you're in Ohio. No matter what racetrack you go to, it always seems like it's dusty. But yeah, I remember the start of that race on that Sunday afternoon. It was very dusty and hard to see. But yeah, Jimmy Owens pulled it off that day.
Yeah, there was a lot of action during that race. So what do you think we're going to see today? You got a lot of racing going on. You got 124 cars. They just got done qualifying. What kind of show do you think we're going to see today?
Well, I think for the drivers and race teams, I know they're going to be racing twice, but personally, I think it's a good thing they're doing this because, A, you're not thinking all day, if we raced last night, oh my gosh, I'm starting on heat 6 pole. If I win this, I'll be starting the front row of $1 million to win race. So I think, throughout the process, they're going to be beating and banging on their car, thinking of the setup and stuff like that. But, I mean, these features, people are going to try to get their points to get the best possible starting spot for the heat races tonight. And I think those B mains later on, before the big show, they are going to be absolute chaos. I think people are going to try some moves they've never done before because it is $5,000 to start. And if you make the show 100 laps at Eldora, anything's possible. So, I think we're going to have some high tension throughout the day, but I think the racetrack's going to hold up nicely. We'll definitely see some sliders. I'm just hoping we'll see a great show for the fans because it would be pretty badass if we had two guys duking it out towards the end to see how they play each other on that final lap.
That would be great. I'm going to let my producer, Austin O'Neill, ask you a question here real quick. Austin?
We can't go to Eldora without talking about Brandon Overton after he swept the Dream last year. So he didn't qualify very good. I think he was 41st in his group, what I saw. What do you think about his chances this year? Or what does he have a shot to maybe go 3 in a row, or maybe even carry that momentum over into the Dream this weekend?
Oh, I mean, B.O., Big Sexy, Brandon Overton, he is definitely a favorite. And, it's kind of hard just to picture how to, start off good, because you invert 4 from the heat races. They take the top 3, and then you get your qualifying time lapse. Well, then by the end of the night, you have these points, and then the guy, overall points leader, he he spins a wheel, and we can invert 6 again. So maybe he's trying to do an old Scott Bloomquist tactic, kind of struggling there in qualifying. Maybe he can hit the redraw on the wheel misfortune later. But, 100-lap race, that guy, if he's in the show, he'll definitely be in contention. I know that he is using the race car that he used at the World 100 and Dream last year. It's just been sitting on ice back at the race shop. So, Overton will definitely be one of the favorites, no doubt.
Can you give me maybe 4 or 5 guys that you think are realistically have a chance to win this race? Can you break it down to 4 or 5 guys that you can think of that are going to be players in this? Like Turbo or Brandon Sheppard. I mean, just can you give me a few names?
Yeah, I'll go in reverse order. So number 4 favorite I had, because I did a little handicap piece on it. I had number 4 was Brandon Sheppard. They're in the Rocket House car. Obviously, I'm a little biased. He's from Illinois, so I'm going to put him in there. But every time they unload, they're always pretty solid. He won the 2019 Dream. Last year's Dream, he led 60 laps. The 2020 dirt late model Stream with no fans, he led, the first 52 laps. Him and Bobby Pierce are duking it out before Tim McCready. So feature time, I think they'll get that car dialed in. He has a chance. Number 3, Dale McDowell, Mac Daddy. I think his average finish the last 10 Dreams is 4.9. Obviously, he's only won it once in 2014. But if the track plays his part, maybe he's starting up in that 12th to 6th range on Saturday or tonight, he can make some noise because he's always passing a crap ton of cars. So he's my 3rd favorite. 2nd is Brandon Overton. Obviously, the recent success, sweeping the Dream last year. And then my favorite is Jonathan Davenport. I mean, since 2015, he has a dirt late model Dream, an Intercontinental Championship, and 4 World 100. So he's kind of like the modern day Eldora guru, I call him. Kind of has that Billy Moyer, Scott Bloomquist, flair in him. Every time he unloads, it just seems like that car's on balance, or it's just balanced every single time. So.
Yeah, and Jonathan Davenport, he just picked up that $50,000 at the historic 100 at West Virginia Motor Speedway. He's got some momentum going for him right now too, doesn't he?
Oh yeah, there's no doubt about that. It'll be very interesting to see. He kind of started the year slow, and now he has $350,000 to win paydays before this, but he told me yesterday the season doesn't start until tonight, Swab. So once he said after this race is over, then you can kind of big sigh of relief, the million's over with it. You can kind of just finish out the rest of the season.
Yeah. Well, Derek, man, I really appreciate you taking the time. I know it's a busy day for you guys over there at Flow, a lot going on there. And, let me just say this. It doesn't get any better than what Flow. I mean, I think I counted 42 or 44 races one weekend that you guys had on. I know you're doing over 18. They're doing over 1,800 races for the year. There's never been a better time to sit at home. Now, let me ask you this before I let you go. How many people do you think, because of the price of fuel, this was a big topic before we got you on the air today, how many people do you think the price of fuel is affecting them going to Eldora this weekend? Do you think there's going to be a few of those people?
Oh, you're always going to have a few of those people, but I think just the way the crowd is right now this afternoon, it is you can feel the vibe. You look at the campgrounds. I mean, it looks like me, it's just like a World 100 type, people camping. I think just because it's $1 million, people want to be part of history because it was a generation ago, 20 years that they did the last one. But, with the fuel prices and stuff like that, and some people can't get to the races, I do think that streaming is kind of like that foothold why we get through this, this fuel crisis that maybe okay, they see this racetrack. Once we get the fuel down, we're definitely going to go see this. So I think promoters and other people like that just say, take a big, deep breath. It's going to be, you can't look at your numbers from 2020 when the only thing open in the country was dirt late model tracks or, any dirt tracks. So people are going to those. So I think it's kind of holding it together when people can't go. So when the fuel prices go down, I definitely think you're going to see, more people going back to the races and stuff like that. But here at Eldora this weekend, I think everybody's like, okay, we're going to take our vacation. We're going to go be part of history and maybe see our favorite driver win $1 million, which is kind of crazy to hear and say.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Derek, we hope to talk to you down the road a little bit more this year. If you don't mind coming on from time to time, we'd love to have you on and talk about what's going on in the late model world. You're as savvy about late model racing as anybody, and I love your little segments when you're walking around the racetrack with the drivers too, man. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, we're planning on doing the one lap, one beer segment with the winner tonight. So hopefully it's somebody that's a good interview and a good time. Because if I won $1 million, I guarantee you I wouldn't be unloading tomorrow for the Dirt Late Model Dream. I would have a good time and cherish the moment. But either way, I think it's going to be a great night, and we're going to see some history here, and hopefully we have a great slugfest between 2 or 3 drivers, and we have a great photo finish, and everybody's happy.
Yeah. All right, that was episode number 107. If you want to go back and listen to that again, I thought that was a good interview.
He was a great prognosticator, wasn't he? This was the morning of the $1 million race, and
right.
He's predicting a great night, which it was.
It was a great night of action.
And he also predicted Jonathan Davenport would be the winner. He was right about that.
Yeah. Well, he had to earn that win, though.
Yeah, he did. It wasn't easy.
That was not an easy victory for him. I thought that, to be honest with you, I thought Tim McCready was going to win it because he was rolling the bottom so well.
Yeah.
I thought that he was going to get
around
him
that tire go down
until the tire went down, and then at the end of the race, again, if I was Chris Madden and I'm coming up off of turn 2, and I'm in front of Jonathan Davenport, I'm taking that thing to the fence. I'm not going to give him any room to get up next to me and make a run going down into turn 3. What do you got, Austin?
Well, as we talked about that yesterday, I went back and caught the highlight video again, and you think. He should have took his slider to the fence, but I mean, when you're racing the guy for the lead and the track's that slick, you can't blow through it and blow all your momentum out of the water.
Yeah,
I mean, you go slide.
He was
through
only
there,
a car width off of the wall, though.
About 2 car widths. I mean, he left a good amount of room, but you just can't when there's nothing to get a hold of.
Yeah.
And there's a little bit of moisture in the middle. You can't go blowing through it and hope the wall is going to just give you a launching pad down the backstretch. So, I mean, he did the right thing of sliding through the middle to catch that moisture that was kind of rough, center off.
Yeah.
And try and get a drive, but also, leave an opening, but, have a better exit and kind of block the crossover. So he was committed to run the top, and we all saw what happened when he would run the top off of 2. It always kind of falls off. So,
right.
That one time Davenport hit something that he hadn't hit the entire race, and he got the better drive.
But just to be a counterpoint, Jonathan Davenport won that race at the end running the top, right?
Right.
Yeah. And all I'm going to say is I'm going to block as much as I have to. If they run over me, they run over me. If I go through the slick, I spin my tires and I take it to the fence, Jonathan Davenport's going to have to get out of the gas or run over me.
Do you think that Chris Madden was also thinking that, hey, this isn't checkers or wreckers here. It still pays $100,000 for second.
It's $1 million, Kurt.
I get that, and that's a hell of a difference.
$900,000 difference between second and first.
Right.
What are you going to do? I'm going to throw caution to the wind, and if Jonathan Davenport runs over me because I blow my tires off going through the slick coming out to the wall, that's what you're saying, right, Austin?
Not Davenport, Madden. If he would have committed the slider and drove it to the cushion and the wall, he wouldn't have had any forward drive or momentum to counter the slide job. Or Davenport already has his momentum built up.
Right.
So at that point, he's just going to turn under you and drive by it on the backstretch, and you're going to be sitting there 5 or 6 car lengths behind him getting the 3, and your shot's over. So all I'm saying is he was trying to maybe set it up again for getting into 3 where he can really clear up and then put a big block.
Okay. It's not like it was coming to the checkered flag.
So just to be devil's advocate again here, all right? If I bring it up, and granted, Jonathan could do the cutback cut down underneath of him. But if he stays off the wall, Jonathan Davenport gets the run on him and beats him down to turn 3 anyway, right? Why not try to take his momentum away from him a little bit? Why not try to just squeeze him or make him roll up a little bit or do whatever you have to do? But he just gave him the lane and let him run right up next to him and beat him down to the next corner. That's all I'm saying.
Well,
I listen, blocking at the end of a race that pays that kind of money is okay. Block, 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 block. We see it all the time. We see sprint car drivers try to chop people when last night, Brian Brown's a great example. Brian Brown, when Logan Schuchart got up next to him, he took him down in the corner. What did he do? He brought it down to the bottom to take away the momentum of Logan Schuchart.
Sprint car guys are going to do that on lap 1.
Yeah, no, I know.
Just
why can't late models be that way?
I mean, you can be however way you want to. I mean, you just see it more in sprint car racing with the air. I mean, if late models were so air dependent like we are in sprint car racing, you would see it more.
Yeah,
and it's not as though Jonathan Davenport and Chris Madden are best buddies.
No, I know
they're not. They haven't been all that close to one another. So I mean, I don't know. It's easy to second guess. I would guess that Chris Madden is second guessing himself after that race. Who wouldn't be? You know, what could I have done?
Well, one thing that I think Jonathan Davenport said after that race is that him and Madden have had some issues in years past. Listen, I don't care if I've had issues with those guys or not. I'm going to...
It's $1 million.
It's $1 million. I'm going to race you dirty if that's what it takes to win. That's what I'm going to do.
Well, even though Davenport started on the front row, he did a masterful job throughout that 100-lap race, working the traffic, knowing where the line is. I mean, just look at his record at Eldora Speedway. He's won 4 of the last 7 World 100s, and now he wins this race. He's got to be the favorite again tonight.
Lloyd says $1 million is one thing, but $100,000 for second is better than getting taken out and ended up with $5K. Yeah. No, Lloyd. That's not how a racer thinks.
A smart racer thinks that way.
Not me. I don't think like that. I'm thinking about that $1 million. You know, who cares about anything else? It's all about the million. It has nothing to do with the start money or anything like that. For me personally, it's all about getting the $1 million.
You'll worry about that other stuff later.
Don't worry about all that other stuff. Worry about the $1 million. That's what you worry about.
Those heat races last night were entertaining as hell.
They were really good.
We're disappointed they didn't get those twin features in last night. Those heat races were worth the price of admission. I mean, there was a lot of action there.
Let me just say this, Kirk, real quick. I'm sorry to interrupt you. Lloyd, your tight ass would think like that. Because you're as tight as anybody I know. You're the tightest dude I know. You're thinking about taking home $100,000. You're not thinking about winning the race. You're thinking about what you can put in your pocket. Me, I'm thinking about winning.
Here you go. I got a situation for you. What would you do if you're running second, like let's say Chris Madden, and you know your car is not as good as Davenport, and you have a shot, but you know it's not going to pan out and work for you. Do you take that shot and risk losing, $100,000?
Yes.
I mean, but you know you're not going to win, and you're going to finish second and make 100 and some odd
thousand. You don't
thousand.
know that you're not going to win. You got to take the chance.
If you
don't take the chance, how do you know if you can win? You've got to take the risk.
I mean, when he drives by you on every restart and leaves you by straight away, then as a driver, you know when your car's good and when your car's not.
To me personally, I don't really care. It's all about the win. It doesn't matter where I finish in that race. It's about the win. It's about the $1 million. That's all I'm thinking about. I'm not thinking about anything else but the $1 million. I'm not thinking about the $100,000. I'm not thinking about what it pays to start. I'm not thinking about any of that. I'm thinking about trying to win $1 million.
I don't think you'd be the only one that would think that way.
I guarantee it. If you're a hardcore racer, and Lloyd's never driven a race car, Lloyd, so you don't know anything about driving a race car. You've owned one. Oh, and by the way, it was a sprint car, by the way.
You got to.
Did you know that Lloyd owned a sprint car at one time?
No.
Did you know that? Yeah. Yeah. So all I'm saying is you got to go for it.
He calls him
if you don't go for it, you're not a racer.
He calls him a tumble buggy now.
I don't care. If you don't go for it, you're not a racer. Listen, you're selling out if you don't go for the win. That's how I feel about
Well,
it.
you know, even Brandon Davenport mentioned before the race happened, he said, this is for $1 million. A lot of people are going to do crazy things for $1 million, he said. So I think he was ready for whatever happened that Chris Madden might try to do. I think even he was surprised that Madden didn't.
Pete said Joey Logano would take out whatever to win, right?
Yeah.
Joey Logano doesn't care.
Ross Chastain, he wouldn't care either, right?
Ross Chastain would knock you out of the way to win a race.
Yeah. He ain't out there to make friends.
Listen, friends are overrated sometimes when you race against people that you like, really. You don't want to. I hate racing against my friends.
Yeah.
I always hated that.
And I don't, as a fan, and I'm a fan of you as a driver, I don't want you to be best buddies.
I don't want to be friends with people on the racetrack.
Right.
Right.
Hey, one thing I'm looking for tonight, Brandon Overton, who won both Dreams a year ago, didn't even qualify for the main event.
I know it.
At the Eldora Million. Well, he's in the show tonight.
Yep.
Because he won his heat race last night. So Brandon Overton, I think, is going to be a player in this race tonight. He looked like he had this car sorted out a lot better than he did the other day. So I wouldn't count out Brandon Overton tonight, even though he didn't get qualified for the Eldora Million the other night.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens.
All right. Well, what a good show today, man. Appreciate everybody tuning in and hanging out with us here on Track Talk. We do it. It's been 22 years we've been doing that, Kirk. And Kirk is going to be disappearing on me here before too much longer.
All right, let's take note of what we got tonight. We got Knoxville tonight. Keep your fingers crossed that. I don't know.
I don't think it's going to happen.
We got Lake Ozark Speedway tonight. We got the non-wing sprint cars and the 410 Power Eye sprints for the first time down there tonight. We got midgets at Kokomo. We got the All-Stars tonight at Fremont. We've got USMTS modifieds on the quarter mile at Belleville tonight. What else? What are we missing?
Got weekly racing at Bridgeport on Flow tonight as well. That's a good one. I kind of wouldn't mind watching that. They got weekly racing at Port Royal Speedway tonight on Flow. That's pretty good. They got the Jack Ingram Memorial at Hickory Motor Speedway also this weekend. Do you watch any of these other local tracks, Kirk? Watch some of their racing?
Some.
Yeah.
But the bigger events is what I are captivated.
Also on Flow, they what is this? They got weekly racing at Lucas Oil Speedway on Flow.
Yeah. Do they on Flow?
That's what it says right here. NASCAR. Oh,
that Lucas Oil Raceway, isn't it?
It says weekly racing, Lucas Oil Speedway.
Really?
Yeah. And then they got the NASCAR weekly racing at Bowman Gray Stadium, which I know Austin's going to be watching that. That's what you love to watch is Bowman Gray, isn't it, Austin?
I mean, it's the Madhouse.
It's the Madhouse.
That's all I can say. It's the Madhouse.
Right. It is crazy.
The big race for me tonight is Eldora, the Dream. So
yeah,
that's the big one. But boy, there's a lot of good racing on tonight. And of course, if you're nearby a local racetrack, check it out. Oh, by the way, I was going to mention Tyler Davis beat Tad Davis at Humboldt last night, USRA modified race. And I don't have any results. Did US 36 get their show in last night? I'm not sure.
Did you say that you heard that Blake might be running down at Lake Ozark Speedway?
Yep, according to his Facebook page, he is.
All right. And you can watch that tonight on Dirt Vision if you'd like to.
That'll be a good show to go to tonight.
And also Volusia Speedway Park is going to be on there. Knoxville's going to be on Dirt Vision tonight. So a good amount of programming on Dirt Vision. They do a great job, man.
Oh, yeah.
They do as good a job as
NASCAR
anybody.
at Sonoma this weekend on the road course tomorrow.
Yeah, for sure.
Check that out.
All right. Well, thanks, folks, for tuning in to Track Talk here on RBN, the Racing Boys Broadcasting Network. We're going to do it all over again next Saturday. Starts at 8 Central Time. Don't forget, Monday through Friday, Austin O'Neill and myself do a show called Mostly Motorsports. It starts at 12 noon Central Time. We have a lot of great guests on there. We hope that you'll join us Monday through Friday. We're on the air 6 days a week here, folks, right here in this little studio. And we hope that you hang out with us each and every day. It's always a good time. Me and Austin have a great time during the week on Mostly Motorsports. We hope that you'll join us. For Kirk Elliott, for Todd Surprise, for Austin O'Neill, I'm Scott Traylor saying we'll see you Monday, 12 noon Central Time, right here on RBN, the Racing Boys Broadcasting Network.
Taking care of your car is a responsibility. It ensures the long life of your car and its expensive components. That's why Lucas Oil takes automotive protection so seriously. Lucas heavy-duty oil stabilizer bonds with motor oil to shield engines from heat and wear. So take pride in caring for your car and pass that pride and knowledge to the next generation for years of smooth, reliable driving on the long road ahead. Trust Lucas Oil.